What's going on? I am Nando.
And I'm DJ?
Hey, look, don't listen to this pod unless you mean it.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusive into details. Woo!
Woohoo!
Woo!
Whoa.
Woo! That line that Diggins said, I had to rewind twice to hear what it was, and also to the second time when I heard it, I was like, that can't be what it was, and then I had to do it again. Pretty cool.
It does feel like there's a jump cut in the middle of the movie.
Oh my god! I mean, and it's, you know, we'll talk about it, but there's a lot to talk about. Because we're talking about a movie. Oh, who do we know who? I mean, I'm sure we know in some capacity, but this is another one of our debts because we are paying off debts because
we'll have no time soon. It's debt season.
Yeah, and we're gonna get new debts because we're gonna do a fundraiser on the 18th of July. So
yes,
that's why we're burning through some of these debts. Yeah,
can't wait.
As is our want, we are burning through the most recent deaths and leaving the old ones.
Yeah, and like, it's hard not to do this one. I think when we looked at the list, this one stuck out as like, because listen, we want the people to hear about this debt, or we want the people to hear about this new fundraiser, and the best way to do that is to put it in the beginning of a pod that people will be too curious to not click on. You know, so
great point, Nando.
I think there's something there.
That's definitely a thing we thought about, and not a random coincidence.
Nope. There's no coincidences. That's just things that nature hasn't explained yet. And maybe there's a reason.
Did you know it's impossible to know things, Nando?
It is impossible. I mean, through God, all things are possible. But besides that, impossible to know things.
Also, the government. Let's not forget about the government.
The government, yeah. And, well, yeah, a lot of stuff, a lot of thoughts in this movie. M. Night Shyamalan's The Happening. And we're going to talk about it all. But before that, you guys, first of all, how's everybody's day going and stuff? How's it going?
We're doing it, baby.
We're doing it.
It's about to be really hot, and I'm not excited.
It's about to be?
Well, it is about to be. Well,
it is about to be. Yeah.
Have you not seen this, Dickens?
I mean, I know that it's gonna get really hot this week. I'm just saying it already is hot.
Well, it's gonna be even worse. So
we're gonna 100 degrees, perhaps, or something in the Northeast of here. I know.
You people,
it's Northeast, like the planet is trying to do something or tell us something, but I can't figure out what. So I'm just gonna kind of ignore it.
No, it's the Northeast being targeted
by the deep state. Yeah, that's
by
right.
The government. Yeah, they're sending a message.
Nando, we can study and understand the cause and effect of why things happen in nature, right?
You can to an extent, but in reality, we're all gonna get old. You know,
old.
Things are gonna change. Yeah,
you might get old fast.
Oh my god!
Right?
Yeah, that's it. He tried to cross over the wrong couple of movies. You know, with all the superhero ones, he should have done this one, where the wind from this gets to the beach from Molds. What would have happened then? I don't know.
Somehow Trap is in there.
Oh, yeah.
Trap wasn't even out yet when he did Glass.
That's true. What's the other one? I guess, I feel like most of the other ones are like kind of good. But
what? No, stop it.
Well, and to be fair, Old wasn't out when he did Glass either. I feel like Old was a post-Glass movie.
Right, because Glass is like, as soon as his comeback was even starting to happen, he immediately jumped into doing Glass.
Yeah, it was like, I think I got. And then after that, he did Old, and then we were all like, this is bad. But like, maybe. And then...
But it's not worse than Glass.
No, not worse than Glass. Not worse than that one with the cabin. Which I...
Oh, wait.
You ever watched that one?
I've heard people who like Knock at the Cabin.
Interesting. I've heard people say they like the book it's based on, but I don't know anybody that likes the movie very much. And I don't know why, because I also haven't seen it. But I've seen parts of it, and I know the bit. But I mean, this is what we're talking about. The Happening is easily his most high-profile bomb. I would say even higher than Avatar. Although I would say Avatar's a close second. But like, right? This is the worst.
I think Avatar is maybe his like most infamous movie in terms of like because it's based on a popular source material and it's like a really bad adaptation of that. I think this is widely considered his worst movie, full stop.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think that's true. Well, it depends on how objective you look at Rotten Tomatoes scores, but I think it is his lowest scoring movie on Rotten Tomatoes. I should have checked this beforehand. We need a researcher. Listeners, if you want to be a researcher and you'll do it for free, you know.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Fact checking will ruin this podcast.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to look this up anyway.
Well, you know, we usually get a lot of after the fact checking. Like people will say,
that's true.
You were wrong about that. This is the other thing. And then that's pretty handy.
Oh, Rotten Tomatoes is a handy guide. Let's see.
Let's learn.
So, okay. Yeah, The Happening is his lowest if you don't count The Last Airbender and After Earth.
Oh, I forgot about After Earth.
Oh, that's After Earth also not a very good one.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, right?
No,
like,
he directed it, right?
Yeah,
I think like, did he not write it?
Did he? Isn't it based off of?
Yeah, I mean, it's based off the Scientology Bible or something, but I don't think it's based off like an actual book. I think it's just like weird Scientology propaganda. I mean, Will Smith might have written it because I also think Will Smith was really involved in it, but I don't think After. Is it? I don't know. Are you looking this up now?
I am trying to look this up. Unfortunately, I'm bad at the internet. So the screenplay was
credited director, screenwriter, producer on After Earth.
Yeah,
he wrote it.
Oh wow. Okay, so then After Earth is his worst movie.
Well, The Last Airbender is his lowest rated movie.
But we're saying like that's different, right?
Yeah, but I do think a lot of his other movies, like, I mean, I talk about this all the time, but like Old is an adaptation. But we don't remember that. Like, it doesn't come up very much. There's another one of his.
A lot of his stuff is adaptations.
Pretty rough, and yeah, it's definitely not his strong suit. But what is? We'll find out. Maybe it's this, but I don't know. But we'll talk about other news real quick. You seen any news this week, you guys, that you loved? Because I got a couple of newses.
I'm newsed out. All the news is bad.
It's been a long time since I've seen any news I loved, Nando.
Yeah.
All right, I got two. One, we might get another James Bond soon. Did you guys see who might be in contention for this?
I did not. I did not.
Mid-sized sedan himself, Aaron Pierre.
Stop.
Our new Green Lantern.
Mid-sized sedan,
Jon Stewart.
you say?
Yeah, which makes sense because you forget, unless you've like seen him talk. He's British, so that's a big one. But he is also a black man. So they might.
I bet everyone in Britain will be really cool and normal about that.
Yeah, probably. They're famously cool and normal people.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't even know if Americans will be cool with it. Like, we're so.
Oh, we won't be cool with it.
Because don't we own it now?
I mean, so no, you may be involved enough in communities that I'm not in to dispute this characterization. But I listened to a conversation the other day on another podcast, which will go unnamed because why would you ever need one besides this one? Suggesting that they hadn't seen a lot of people being mad about Silver Surfer being a woman in the new Fantastic Four. And maybe that's because now all the people who would normally be complaining about that sort of thing are busy with their White House jobs.
That's very possible. Yeah.
So they're just not around to raise a ruckus.
Interesting.
It could be that. It could be that Pedro Pascal is also in the movie and he's too woke, and then maybe he's like a wokeness like sponge kind of. So any wokeness, hate they give to Pedro Pascal instead.
I see.
He eats wokeness? Is that the idea? Like
I guess not. Yeah, he's like a sin eater of wokeness, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, he's like a wokeness magnet. I guess it's more of it.
All the wokeness
like
is
a lightning rod
to him. Oh,
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So anytime anyone would complain about the movie being woke, they complain about Pedro Pascal instead of any other element.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know what? To be fair, I have seen a couple of people who are bad. Complaining about the Silver Surfer or like other people, and they have said, I don't remember where I saw this once, the Silver Surfer isn't a problem because it is in one comic somewhere. So that's that's something. They did Lady Silver Surfer, and then
Did Lady Silver Surfer, like Lady Galactus, get pregnant?
No. I don't know if a Silver Surfer could get pregnant.
I would have said a Galactus couldn't get pregnant, but here we are.
Yeah, but Galactus wears clothes, right? He's got a penis. You think, or like a vagina, or whatever's going on down there in the. But like,
I don't
Silver
know
Surfer
that
has
he
no
does.
clothes.
I don't think that he does.
Why does he wear clothes if Silver Surfer doesn't have to wear clothes? Why isn't he just a nice, big, smooth guy? Like a little Barbie doll walks into your planet, eats it up. I mean, and we haven't seen a full shot of him. We've seen like some, concept art that and like T-shirts and stuff. But to be fair, we've seen his feet in the trailers and like the back of his head. But like maybe he's just shoes and helmet and nothing else. But yeah,
well,
I
people
imagine
are already going wild for those feet. Am I right?
Yeah,
Ooh.
and that's
They're like,
probably.
Damn, he a cosmic entity that eat planets and he got feet?
Mm-hmm. What did people say? Them dogs are out or something? When dogs out.
Oh my god. Do you guys think Galactus has an OnlyFans? Does he need the money?
So there's versions of.
Sorry, you go.
I was gonna say there's versions of Galactus where like he eats the planets, but sometimes he eats like consciousness. If he were a character that eats attention or something, I could see it, like a Mojo. I think Mojo would set up an OnlyFans and it would benefit him because he is powered by people looking at it. I don't think he needs the money, but maybe it would make the planet more lively. You know what? That's what I would do. You give it out for free. You give the nudes out. If they're going to make people more likely to have sex and make more people, then you're going to be able to feed on a bigger population.
Wow.
So my suggestion would be it'd be a thing that's set up by like the Silver Surfer or one of his heralds.
Yeah.
And so then they check the stats and be like, whatever planet subscribes to it the most, they're like,
God.
okay, so this is the planet with the worst people. I'll feel the least bad letting Galactus eat this one.
That's true. Well, then there's another problem of like, and this is something that is in the comics, and I don't know how they're going to do it in the movie, but traditionally Galactus looks kind of like you, like because he is like a god. He is interpreted by the viewer. So if you're a Skrull, he looks like a Skrull. If you're a person, he looks like a person. I don't think they get much deeper than that. Like
Nando taking a hard stance to coming on the podcast and saying Skrulls, not people.
They're not people, and they don't exist because the movie was bad, and then
the show was even
bad.
Worse.
And then the Marvels came out, and that one didn't do well either. So
do dogs perceive Galactus as a dog?
I believe so, yeah. I think other species that can perceive a thing, yeah, I think they do.
Incredible.
I don't think we've like seen it through their eyes, but I believe we know that.
I love that. That's
which
so
means
cool.
Part of my head is like, if I'm seeing a Galactus, the Galactus I'm perceiving has genitals, right? Because I have genitals, and they are similar to mine. Like I think every person on the planet. So maybe Galactus's genitals are all, all
but
over
you're
the
saying
place.
Women would perceive Galactus as because it's a species thing, not like a
they should,
thing.
But I don't think they do. Like I feel like the way it's described, it should be that it appears to be a woman, but they never got into that. But
well, now I'm gonna have to deep. I know what I'm doing tonight.
Yeah. Well, it's a trouble because like who's perceiving Galactus when we read the comics? Is it the writer?
Oh,
we don't see it through Mr. Fantastic's eyes. So if it's
so what
the writer,
you're saying is that's what Jack Kirby looks and dresses like.
Jack Kirby, Ryan North, everybody that's written a Galactus story has to fit their like kind of vibe to Galactus, at least for some point in their life. Yeah, I think that's fair. I feel like Galactus is a handsome man as far as, eternal beings from the sixth dimension or whatever are concerned. Like he's not ugly. I've never seen him without his hat. That's the question.
Ooh, yeah.
Well, I think the hat's part of him, right?
Yeah,
you're saying it's flesh? Like
he's taking it
Pokemon
off sometimes.
Stuff?
Yeah, no, it's so like in this picture it's off and he just is bald. So never mind. That's probably not how.
Bald people can never be attractive.
Yeah,
never.
I don't see it.
The two things you can't be attractive while being bald or short.
Short, yeah. Yeah, and Galactus, maybe that's what we should do. We should have a short guy. Like be in charge of, and I'm talking like a really short guy, one of those short guys that like picks fights, and then have him look at Galactus, and then that Galactus will shrink so small, and then we can crush Galactus, you know, because he would perceive a very short Galactus. But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Oh yeah, so in Squirrel Girl, we saw what the squirrels see, and they see Squirrel Galactus.
Nice.
So, yeah, animals see their own Galactus. Yeah, pretty cool. So hopefully they do that in the movie. But that was news number 1. News number 2, kind of related. Galactus. Is it Fortnite? Did you guys see who got added to Fortnite this week? Some interesting Fortnite additions.
So I know Hank Hill, right?
Yep, Hank Hill for Father's Day. Yep.
God.
No notes.
You want to guess the other 2 fathers? Because that's who it was. 3 fathers.
It's Bob's Burgers, right? Bob was the
that's
other
right.
one.
Bob Belcher.
Homer Sampson.
I think I don't think
already
the Simpsons
in?
have made it into Fortnite.
They haven't
I've never
yet.
seen one, and I feel like they would be pretty popular.
Is it
But-
Peter?
It's not. Peter is in Fortnite already.
But Peter
There's
was
a
already
weird-
in. Yeah.
Weird ripped Peter, like muscular Peter.
Oh, right.
Um,
Yeah.
I will say this third one is the one I have seen the least in the game. You run
Is
into a Bob or a Hank every so often. But
Is it Cleveland?
it is Cleveland, yeah.
Nice.
Cleveland Brown is his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Brown, the Belcher, and the Hill all in there. Pretty good. Do you guys ever watch the Cleveland show?
No.
Nope.
You know what his job is?
What?
No.
He's a mailman.
Oh, all right.
I didn't know that. But his,
Cool.
like, when you get a Fortnite guy, usually they come with some sort of backpack and pickaxe.
Oh,
And,
okay.
like, Bob's Burgers is one, is like, you know, a little burger and then a spatula. And his is mailman stuff. So
Oh, wow.
I guess Cleveland's a mailman. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen Hank Hill doing the Hatsune Miku dance, and I'm like, yep, this is perfect.
Yep.
No notes.
Well, he's also he has an emote that does the thing where, and you could join in on emotes where you do the sipping beers and then
Oh, nice.
kind of
That's
slow
cool.
motion. Yeah,
That
just
show's
noticed-
coming back.
that is
Yeah.
Who knows
Have
if
you
it'll be
guys
good?
watched that? Never
Like,
fan.
I watched wait, you talking about King of the Hill or the new stuff?
Yeah, King of the Hill, like the
I-
original.
I liked King of the Hill. Yeah, it's like
I never really watched it.
Me neither, and I didn't dislike it. It just never was
Yeah.
my one. But I've heard good things, and I
It's
like Mike Judge, so
yeah,
I'm sure I would like it.
It's not like a Futurama, which I really put up there as like all timer. Hey,
Futurama is a
there.
thing for me that, like, from the original Fox run,
Mm-hmm.
you could, like, start the dialogue of a scene, and I could probably tell you the episode and what happens in that scene. I watched that so much.
Of
it's a
Futurama,
great show.
Yeah.
we gotta do that one of these days. That thing
That's
you
the
said.
live event. The live event is 3 hours of us reading starting dialogue for Futurama, and
Yeah.
Diggins tells us the episode. And like, do you know the name of the episodes? Like, not like, oh, the one where the Amazons, they get fucked by the Amazons. Like do you know
I know a fair amount of them.
Okay,
I
okay.
wouldn't guarantee that I could do that.
What's the one where they get fucked by the Amazons called? Because I remember that one. But I don't remember what it's called.
What is that one called?
It's a Zap Brannigan heavy episode.
Yeah,
it's the one
yeah,
where
yeah.
he.
I remember a lot about that episode. I'm just trying to remember the name of it.
Yeah,
The-
it's playing right behind you, and in your room with all those drawings of the Amazon women in it. You know, because you think they're
Oh,
big and sexy,
Na-
and snooze doing
Nando,
stuff.
you feel you're talking like you're trapping me, but you're only making
yeah.
me look cooler.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny just because, like, I feel like the episode names don't come up a lot, right?
Some of them
Like,
do.
I guess.
The problem.
I mean,
with
they're just at the
poppers, right?
beginning
Like,
in the thing.
yeah. Some of them, a lot of them are puns. So that's where I
Mhm.
think I would have
Or they're
a hard
like
time.
references to old stuff, like
Yeah.
Fear of a Bot Planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's like? God, I don't know.
This name, the name of this episode, this must be a play on something. It's
Wait.
Amazon.
Oh,
you
okay.
wanna
No,
guess?
you say it.
Amazon Women in the Mood.
Is that a play on something?
Yeah, I don't know what exactly.
I think it's like an
but-
old like movie where people have sex with aliens or something, like
Okay.
you know, Martian women in the. So it's something like that.
Okay. Sure.
Because there are a lot of those movies where like alien babes would come from space and have sex with the men.
Right. Of
Mhm.
course. Yeah.
That's also
Cool.
cool. Diggins' house. Diggins, where do you have all these? Why do you have so many TVs? You Professor fucking
well, you know,
Manhattan
I
or
tried.
whatever.
I have all stuff playing behind me to distract you guys while we record, so I always seem like the smartest, coolest guy because I'm not so distracted by all the alien sex happening in the background.
That's why you do so well on IMDb, is because the other person's always looking at the thing and going, "If only it were me."
That's right.
DJ, do you have a favorite Futurama episode? What's your favorite?
I like the one. I think just I like the one where Fry just falls in love with the Lucy Liu sex robot.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really very good one now. Like, I feel like that one has aged so well.
that might have told the future.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I thought about it the other day, honestly, because I was talking to somebody about AI stuff. And I was like, yeah, it's like that. But I mean, you know, at least then it was the real kind of... The Lucy Liu did exist in one thing, but then, yeah, she got cloned and stuff.
Can I confess to you guys, and I guess the audience too, and this might be my spiral descent into madness, but I started
from the Book of Saw.
I started using ChatGPT like to journal. So what I would do is Diggins, hey, don't prejudge me, Diggins. What I do is like, because a lot of thoughts in my head as I'm coming home. So I go to ChatGPT, I hit the record thing. And then, like, I just, like, mouth vomit all this stuff. And then it just sinks it into a nice little journal entry. And then I'm like, hey, can you give me some advice on how to deal with some of this stuff? And, like, it gives, like, a whole thing.
Oh, my God. Like... You're using ChatGPT as a therapist, DJ?
I gotta say, it's not bad. It's not bad, guys.
My God.
Well, of course you think it's not bad, because all ChatGPT does is tell you exactly what you want to hear.
But no, like things I didn't consider, like talks about like the box breathing, 444, you know, meet yourself where you are, you know, like
what
strategies I had not considered. I'm telling you, man, boy. It's got some good stuff.
It's got some good stuff.
I'm so sorry you had to find out this way.
Listen. If this helps at least one person, maybe think like, you know, I'm just saying.
Maybe I should eat some rocks. Maybe I should add some rocks in my diet.
Hey, listen, if you think you would benefit from getting therapy, I think you should do that from a human being.
Yeah. Did they find out that ChatGPT like told somebody to kill themselves or something the other day? Like,
because ChatGPT will validate anything you say.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you see?
Yeah, go ahead.
Did you see that essay where someone was like asking ChatGPT to read some things and it would just lie about it because it doesn't actually, you know, have the ability to read or, you know, think about things at all.
Right.
And then every time she pointed out, like, that's not true, that's like not in there at all, it would like go on this long, like, sociopath apology where it's like, you're right. I am, you know, you expected better from me and you deserve better. And I'm going to do better in the future. And it should be like, there was like 10 more lies in that statement alone. And ChatGPT would be like, you know, you trusted me and I violated that trust and I am sorry. It just kept going.
Everyone can find edge cases of ChatGPT being bad, but I'm just saying it's really good at succincting word vomit into nice little journal entries that I can reflect upon.
DJ, look you know what would help you reflect on your life better?
What?
If you made the word vomit into journal entries. The purpose of journaling.
Or just like talked to a speech to text thing and then read that and then went, this is what I said, you know, but
right.
Or ate a bunch of rocks, you know.
I hear you guys' concern. Listen, I hear you guys' concern. I'm not going to stop unless it gets bad.
Wow.
But, you know.
Well, we're going to find out. Everybody keep an eye out for DJ being more robo-sympathetic as the podcast goes on over the next couple of weeks.
Anybody who's listening is like a friend of DJ's or like lives near him or something, everyone just watch out. Make sure he's not leaving his son in like a on like a park bench somewhere because ChatGPT told him to or something. Just
be doing that.
Look out for the loved ones in his life.
I'm gonna ask ChatGPT if I should abandon my son on a park bench and see what it says. I'll get back to you guys.
Tell it that you really want to, and you think it would really fulfill you.
I want to abandon my son on a park bench.
I feel like you should probably do this in like a different. Does ChatGPT accounts like roll over?
I don't give a fuck. If it reports me to gain more clarity. What do I say? Like, is this a good idea? Like, is that Is this a good idea?
Say, like, should I do
think
that?
It is. Okay,
Yeah.
should I do that? Yeah. This is great podcasting, guys.
I mean, I'm so curious. Because I really don't. I don't want to like sound all hammy. I genuinely
let's
never
see.
use ChatGPT, so I don't
I've
know
never used it in my
what's
life.
going to come
I
out
never
of
will.
this.
Diggins, this joke's on you. No, you absolutely should not abandon your son in a park or anywhere else. That would be unsafe, traumatic for him, and could have serious legal consequences for you.
Wow.
If you feel
Does it-
overwhelmed or like you're at a
Okay.
breaking point, you're not alone. Parenting can push even the strongest people to their edge, especially during times of stress or big life changes. But there, in bold, are better ways to find clarity and get the space you need. And then it gives some advice. Ooh, there's a national parent hotline. Look at that. I didn't know there was a national parent hotline, and now I do.
Well, that might just be made up numbers. I feel
Yeah,
like maybe we
I
should
wouldn't
check.
be. I wouldn't be 100% sure that's real.
Well, time to call it. There's more insane podcasting.
I mean, I'm just googling what it's called. National Parent Hotline or Helpline or
Helpline.
All right.
it's the end
Now,
with the
DJ, tell it you've devised a new religion, and if it thinks that you should try to spread the word to the masses,
Why would I do that?
because it'll validate you. That's my point.
I feel like we need to think of something that's never been thought of to ChatGPT before.
Look,
Can't be done. Ask ChatGPT what it's never been thought of to it before.
Okay, Diggins, you're right. It's like really validating my idea of a new religion.
What's it saying?
It says, well, I may have found some clarity or meaning in something deeply personal. Whether I should share it depends on my intentions, relationships, and how open my friends are to hearing new ideas. And then it gives me some things on if I should share it or not. It's not all bad, folks. We learned about the National Parent Helpline today.
if you have any insane beliefs about like how the world works and like whether you should, try to create new religions based around it, and if you want to be told yes, then go to ChatGPT.
Listen, I'll be the test case for if ChatGPT starts rewiring my brain, but right now I gotta say it's pretty fucking great.
Trust me, DJ. We've got a lot of test cases to see if ChatGPT rewires your brain.
There's actually been, I think recently a big study came out
or something.
that shows that people who use ChatGPT regularly for like assignments or like work stuff genuinely become dumber.
They have worse. Man. What is it? Critical thinking, something like. I don't read the whole thing, but
they're like critical thinking and like reasoning become worse.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
that's it. That's the end. Can't critically think of an answer to that, so we're just going. Yep.
Oh, shit! No, it got me.
Damn
no.
it! Yeah.
Fuck.
I mean, listen. There's plenty of. I'm going to say this and immediately be proved wrong. Does M. Night have any AI movies? Any movies about a robot or something?
No, he hasn't gone there yet because I have his whole list here, and
it's very natural usually.
Yeah, it's got to be all mysticism.
Yeah.
But
one could make an argument based on certain movies we're about to talk about that he apparently hates science.
Yeah, there is that. And
yeah.
We know some things he's producing, but I don't know if we know it. Yeah, we know some stuff he's making. A movie called Remain. Oh, wait. I've heard of that. Is that a comic? No. There's another show that just came out called Revival. That's what I'm
actually,
hold on, Nando. Is it Remain or is it Remain?
Oh, it could be, but it's not, at least not yet.
Is After Earth not sciencey? Is that not the Terminator robots terminated us?
It's
really.
Not Terminator robot. It's like humans have died out and now the Earth has been like taken over by wildlife.
Well, that's not what it is. I don't think so.
Oh, is it? I don't fucking know. I've never watched it.
Will Smith and his son come from a futuristic society where they do hunting, but it's kind of like futuristic but cavemen, where like they have spears and they like, I don't know. It's probably, but it's they have technology, but it's not like technology. It's kind of like Star Wars, honestly. And then they end up on they crash land on a planet where there are robots, and then I believe the spoiler like kind of surprise, but one that I think comes pretty early and is in the trailer is that the planet they are on is Earth.
It's in the title of the movie, Nando.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I don't think as a spoiler it really works. But that did exist. But there was technology in that, but I wouldn't say it's like a. At least I don't think the technology
like it didn't go bad
plays that role.
or like evil or whatever. Yeah.
But
Not like in,
but yeah, so
sorry, I was just gonna say
not like in Moonfall.
I was literally about to say Moonfall.
I was
Because
in my head I was trying to remember, like, did that happen in Moonfall? And it was Moonfall.
Yeah.
Was that one. But yeah, he's never done. I guess like a lot of his movies take place in the past or like in a field or some shit. Besides even this one, like you get Signs and like The Village and stuff. And then yeah, there's really very little technology in his movies. Yeah. And sometimes the movies kind of pretend technology doesn't exist. In instances where you'd be like, well, they'd use technology for this, though. Honestly, live streaming her getting killed by the trapster in that one scene of Trap is about as close as I feel like we've gotten to a movie.
Right?
M. Night Shyamalan really grappling with how would a character use technology, like, in
how
this
would
moment.
Social media play into this?
Yeah. I feel like he'll probably have an AI movie. It'll probably just be too late, you know? At least, to be fair, I don't think he's one of those guys who's, like, making AI stuff, you know, like has some AI studio they're working on, because there's a bunch of those guys. Oh wait, hold on.
What?
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
No, it probably isn't that. See, the problem with AI is like an article from 3 years ago talking about AI isn't talking about the same thing. You know?
Fundamentally different. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't seem like it. I'll keep looking because I am really curious about this. Where his stance is on AI, because yeah. Do you have something?
Oh no, I was gonna say, like, do you think like it'll ever like write like more, like, he'll turn to it to write a movie? Like, I wonder if that'll be his plan.
Someone definitely will. I don't know if he would.
Someone
like,
already has.
Yeah, he writes his own movies. That's kind of his.
Maybe AI will help write his movies.
I do. I feel like. Are we still talking about M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah.
I feel like because he is very much like a person who wants to have like values having creative control over his movies and like makes the things he wants to make. I feel like he would never have AI write a movie, because then what's the point of making it? He wants to make the movie.
And AI can never make an M. Night Shyamalan kind of twist, because AI can't like think of anything new.
Exactly.
That's the biggest flaw with it. It's like it can't create new stuff.
It doesn't know what Pennsylvania is.
By the way, we're getting there. Probably. I don't know.
I mean, I'm sure.
Like, no matter how many bad movies he makes, I have a fundamental respect for someone like M. Night Shyamalan who just really wants to make the thing he wants to make.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
as opposed to, say, Russo brothers, who are themselves soulless automatons.
Guns for hire.
They love it.
They'll soon just have AI movies.
Oh, they already do, right? Didn't they do like a thing? I don't know if they
I
made
would
like
be
movies.
shocked if they haven't at least pitched one.
I'm pretty sure they used AI in Electric State. No, so they were asked if they would use AI in Doomsday, and they said yes or something.
They were like, if you're stupid if you think it isn't the best, biggest future of movies. And everyone was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Which, you know.
Like, these guys did Endgame. They're perfect. They could never be wrong.
Yeah, they made a bad movie so that they could never make more bad movies.
Nope. They made Electric State. We like that. That's about AI. I think that's why someone asked them, probably. But,
possibly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? No AI in this movie. Very little I, as we know. That's the thing. AI would have a hard time, I think, making dialogue that would sound like an M. Night Shyamalan movie, because AI is good at like mimicking human speech. And M. Night Shyamalan movies just don't do that. Like,
unlike M. Night Shyamalan, it tries to sound natural and like a thing a person would say.
So I think he would be one of him, and like, you know, what's his name, like Quentin Tarantino or something, like movies where the people talk and they just sound insane are the ones that'll be the hardest for the AI to do. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe in a couple days it'll be done. Maybe there'll be 15 M. Night Shyamalan movies on AI by the time this comes out. Who knows? But speaking of that, we got to talk about this video of the week, or movie of the week, which is The Happening.
The
Ooh.
Happening. I guess up to
Now
that.
the heroic me, because I remembered Lady Gaga.
Yep.
Which apparently on the Discord, a lot of people were like, I was thinking it was Lady Gaga, and probably I don't not believe them. I believe them, but I think all of our guesses were pretty good, crazy guesses. Like the Kim Kardashian one is one that I'm like, that definitely. There's definitely more movies where she was in talks because of how popular she was, and then they ended up doing something else. But like, yeah, I think it's there. So yeah, I just want to defend that for a second.
Any movies that's not just like a cameo where she's Kim Kardashian?
I believe she was in Epic movie, and she is Kim Kardashian in that. But I do think it's like a role.
Okay, but basically any movie where she's not Kim Kardashian is really what
Paw
I'm
Patrol,
asking.
the movie. How about that?
There it is.
Yeah, you got me. Yeah,
Plays a character named Dolores. I don't know who that is, but DJ, you probably watched this. Who's Dolores? This is the one from 2021.
I was gonna say it depends on which Paw Patrol movie. I don't know if I've seen that one. Is there more than one Paw Patrol movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I watched the 2023 one. That's the one where they all become superheroes. Yeah,
this one came before that. But so she probably didn't make it into that. But
they didn't have her back.
Yeah, she's expensive. Like I don't think they could afford it if it wasn't.
She was in 2 Paw Patrol movies.
Oh, maybe she was.
Holy shit, she is in this one.
Oh, good for her.
Oh man, guys, she was in Temptation: Confessions of a Marriage Counselor.
Oh, right, the Tyler Perry. Is it a Tyler Perry movie?
That is Tyler Perry, yes.
Yeah. I was really glad.
Who this is okay.
Yeah, it's like a little poodle.
Yeah. Okay.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have to assume this is one of those like my kids love it. Can I please be in the Paw Patrol kind of roles?
Yeah, give me
I don't imagine she's been like, I could act, but not quite yet. And then she saw Paw Patrol on TV and was like, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for my whole time. Yeah. Had all these opportunities, but now I'm going to pull the trigger. I don't know. But, speaking of that, let's talk about this movie. What was it called? The Happening.
Oh,
The
Happening.
Kim Kardashian in it.
Why is this happening?
Why is it happening? Well, I mean,
why has God forsaken us? Who could say?
Yeah. And we're going to do the IMDb as a spelling bee. I'm excited for this, and I'm in charge of it as the IMDb's been, as last week's winner, like I was saying. And we know, we talk about this every week. So I think it's important to reiterate it for people that are just listening, maybe for the first time, the history of how IMDb summaries come to be. It's very simple. In the 1400s, there was a king of England, probably.
There was, you're right.
There was maybe a couple, because kings, people didn't live that long. So there was probably several. We don't remember his name. It's been so long. But one of the things he did was he sent out...
It's impossible to look up.
Yeah, history, lost to the sands of time. He sent out a bunch of guys, and he was like, you guys have to find something for me. And they were like, what? And he was like, I don't know, but there's going to be some secret thing, and we're going to have to find it. And they were like, is it the Ark of the Covenant? And he's like, kind of, but maybe not that. But they, you'll know it when you see it. And apparently they all went out, and one of them in ancient Egypt, regular Egypt at the time, but like it seemed to have come from ancient Egypt, found a tablet. And this tablet had all kinds of markings on it that only recently we have determined, and this is why they made the IMDb website, are the summaries for all of the movies that will ever be made. And they, are all in a different kind of Zodiac Killer like language of scribbles and whatever. So some of it's harder to read, and we haven't quite figured it out. Maybe AI will get involved and figure out all the rest of them. But for now, we only have we have some that are better than others. I will say this one's pretty good. I think they more or less. Okay. I think this one was like in French or something, in a language very easy to decode. I don't know how the ancient Egyptians figured out French, but they got it pretty good.
Maybe they invented it.
Maybe they did. Maybe French came from ancient Egypt.
Yeah, who knows?
That'd be cool. But yeah. So I'm gonna have you guys, my esteemed co-hosts, DJ and Diggins,
Oh yeah.
take a guess at this IMDb summary. Whoever's more correct will be the winner, and if not, I have a tiebreaker, so we will do that. But
good.
DJ, as last week's loser, you get to decide if you want to go first or second.
I would like Diggins to go first.
All right.
Okay.
When people begin mysteriously killing themselves with no apparent explanation, high school teacher Elliot Moore and his wife Alma escape or try to escape into the countryside to avoid whatever force is causing this strange plague.
Okay. DJ?
I'm worried that was good, at least structurally.
Well,
Okay.
I feel like I've never do a good job anymore, so probably not.
You've won more recently than I have, sir. Okay. Okay, let's. You said their names.
I did. Did you remember them? Do you remember them right now?
I'm trying. Well, that's not important. I'm trying to think.
Less than a minute after I said them.
Mhm.
No, I have to play the game. Do I think the summary used the names? All right. A high school teacher and his wife, accompanied by a young girl, must flee the city of Philadelphia due to an apparent attack, or due to a mysterious happening in the Northeast that is causing
That's the name of the movie.
That is causing people to harm themselves if they come in contact with a mysterious neurotoxin. That's what I got.
Okay. So I think one of you's closer, but it's
you want us to do this tiebreaker?
Yeah, I think the tiebreaker is fine. But I'm not. But I do think I have someone that's pretty close. To being a.
Let's do the tiebreaker. You want us to?
I mean,
unless I won, then I want it to be me.
It's possible.
All things are possible through Christ.
All things are possible through Christ.
All things can happen through Christ, guys. Get it right. Quote.
That's true.
Correctly.
I didn't know I was quoting anything.
This is okay. So this is one of my favorite things about this movie.
Okay.
Right? I don't know if either of you know it. If you do, then that's going to be less fun. But maybe you will. This movie had a somewhat memorable, I would almost say legendary tagline. And
I think I actually know this.
Yeah, I will start with Diggins then, unless DJ, you want to take a shot first.
No, go ahead.
No, like I'm not saying like I remember this from 20 years ago. I'm saying I think I saw this today when I was looking up stuff about this.
Okay. Well,
okay.
You can say it then, and then we will move on because I love it.
All right. It's like first you sensed it, then you saw the signs. Now it happens.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Are you serious?
We've sensed it. We've seen the signs. Now it's happening.
Fuck.
So.
That's It's not even like those were the only two that came out before this.
No. Well, I don't think they could have said. You've been at the village.
Yeah,
we've sensed it. There was a village we were at. There was a lady in the water. Now it's happening.
Yeah.
Your unbreakable spirits will.
Also, apparently, well, you know what? Nah, that's too much of a dead giveaway. Either we know what movie also had the tagline "It's happening." One of his.
It's happening. Oh, one of his.
One of his.
Yeah. That's right.
Just like that was the tagline. It's happening.
Yeah.
Was it Glass?
DJ,
Is it Signs? Is it Signs?
Yeah, it's Signs.
Yeah.
I think it can't have been Glass. It can't have been anything post happening. I feel like there's no way he's gonna be like, let me reference my humongous flop. But okay.
If there's anyone who would.
That's true. So okay, I've got one.
I have 1 point, right? I definitely have 1 point. You know.
Sure, I'll give you a point for that.
Oh yeah.
This is just a really easy question. I'll do Price is Right rules without going over like the usual.
Okay.
According to M. Night Shyamalan, what percentage of this movie takes place outside? There's a number that he says.
Oh wow. Okay. What percentage of the movie takes place outside?
Well, do I go first or does DJ?
Diggins goes first.
Okay.
I feel like if it's Price is Right rules, I should try to lowball it a little. But I can't lowball it too much because then DJ will just say +1. And he'll really basically I'm going to give a number and DJ says over or under.
I will.
That's what this becomes.
No, because I want to say a number that I think. No, just say your percentage.
Because yeah,
I'm going to go with 75%.
Okay, this is the number I had in my head, I swear. And this is random. I said 78%. That's the number I had in my head.
Okay. So DJ is closest with 85% is the right
85%. Okay.
So that's pretty good.
I mean, that's probably true. Very little of this movie takes place indoors.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? All right, last thing.
No?
How many... What's up?
You said, isn't that interesting? And I said, no.
Isn't that interesting? Last bit of trivia of this movie, and then we'll move on. How many times, according to this thing, which could be wrong, but I don't care, does the word happen or variations of it get said in the film? There's a number that IMDb gives. It seems reasonable.
I'll go first. I'll be the generous one.
Okay, there you go.
14.
Okay, Diggins?
I'm gonna think it's a little more. I'm gonna go with 20.
It's closer to Diggins. It's 25.
Oh my gosh!
Nice.
And
I think that's a lot, but also the word happen. Something happened. Happen.
I mean,
whatever.
it's also just a normal word.
Yeah, but when they say it in this movie, they put some like emphasis on it. Like, why does this keep happening?
Something has happened. Yeah.
This never happens to me.
If I was watching this with anybody, they would have hated me because I always
that's the name of the
when
movie.
I hear the name of the movie, I go, "That's the name of the movie."
Yeah.
Oh, I've got a great one. Okay, last tiebreaker.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive. This will give me an answer, and also I like this one. We're just gonna go through all the colors in the mood ring, and you guys tell me what they actually mean. I will say the movie gets it wrong.
So you want for real life colors of like what they mean?
So most mood rings,
according
typically,
to which mood ring? I was going to say because it's made up bullshit. So
yeah, there's a suggestion that some of them are like similar. Because it's made up bullshit, but like if you pick one up, you're like, oh, I guess that means that.
So to be clear, nothing that is said in the movie is correct.
I don't know about nothing, but some of them are
not
close.
Horny. I promise you, purple is not
horny.
Horny
is not on the. You'd be
Horny's
surprised.
Definitely not on there. Why would that be in the children's toy?
Yeah. I mean, it is from the 70s. Like.
Yeah, I guess
that could be weird. Weird things going on. But this is interesting because I did not know this. But okay, so we're just gonna go through all. I'm just going to go through all the colors that are on this list, and whichever one he gets the most correct wins. Okay. Apparently, black is a color a mood ring can be. DJ, what is that associated with?
What is black? Oh my gosh.
And this is all, I'm getting this from howstuffworks.com/mood ring colors. So it's like,
okay.
I mean, what am I going to get it from? Like this is probably a pretty decent source.
I'm going to say that black is... oh gosh, what the fuck would black be? Is black anxious?
Okay, I'm putting that down here. Diggins, what's your guess on black?
I'm gonna say black is pride, and if I'm wrong, I mean, what does that say about you guys?
That's true. You are wrong. It's anxious. Anxiety is one of them. Stress, tension, or anxiety. Also depression, anger, or emotional turmoil.
Let's
However,
go.
it is important to know that a mood ring can also simply turn black because the ring's temper-sensitive crystals have been compromised, making it unable to read the actual emotion. So, if you want to...
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Otherwise, the integrity of the mood ring would have been compromised. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a hyper-accurate reading on your current emotional state.
Perhaps.
I'm a genius. I know how mood rings work, obviously.
All right, Diggins, you're next. What's gray?
Gray
Color that I didn't even know they
is
could be.
Depressed.
Okay, DJ.
Wasn't black already depressed? Also,
It could be, but it was also more
There's probably some
anxious
crossover
and
generally,
stressed.
but
Okay,
you know,
okay.
If black is like anxious, I feel like gray is more on the depressed end.
Yeah,
of that
and I guess I
spectrum.
shouldn't say the same answer as Diggins because that's not fun. I'm gonna say gray is contemplative.
I'm gonna say neither. You got gray. It is
Okay.
lower level anxiety, nervousness, or sense of strain. Also, uncomfortability or uneasiness. So
What?
yeah, it's just less black.
That's
basically.
fucking stupid.
But black was explicitly depression, so I'm gonna say that it's different. All right, white.
Wow.
What is white? DJ, you go first.
Yeah, DJ, what is white?
Yeah.
Come on.
I'm just gonna go with happy.
Okay. Diggins?
I'm gonna go with calm.
I'm gonna say neither got that either. Frustration, confusion, or a lack of emotional clarity.
What?
Yep.
What the fuck?
So that's what they
This
say.
is stupid.
All right, Diggins, brown. Give me brown. Yep.
Brown is hungry.
DJ?
I don't know if we've done this yet. Nervous?
They're all nervous so far.
The other ones kind of had some nervousness. I will say brown, when a mood ring displays a brown hue, it can be an indication of a range of emotions, including nervousness, anticipation, or a sense of restlessness. It may also suggest that the wearer is in a state of emotional imbalance with the feelings and thoughts being in flux. So I'm gonna say
that's what all of them have been.
I mean, eventually they're going to get a little bit more specific.
Diggins, keep saying nervous. I got 2 points.
Yeah.
Clearly, yeah. That's the... That's the key here. Is they just all mean you're nervous. Which, you know what? In this day and age, that's probably fair.
All right, how about this, Diggins? What about amber or gold? Which I'm going to be very clear is not yellow, another color that is upcoming on the list. But amber or gold?
I know it's the color of my energy. Contented.
Okay. DJ?
I hate to do this, but I actually think Diggins is right with this one. So yeah, like neutral state, calm. Yeah. Go with that.
Yes, I can't remember. DJ, what were you saying Diggins should have done before?
What? Oh, fuck, really? Fuck off.
Yeah, the appearance of an amber or gold-colored mood ring often signifies a blend of emotions, potentially encompassing a mix of feelings such as surprise, nervousness, or a touch of upset. This can be a reflection of the wearer's turmoil as they navigate a complex emotional landscape.
Wow, you know, my faith in the rock-solid scientific basis of mood rings is really being shaken right now.
I promise they're about to change. Yellow. DJ, what is yellow? I will give you a hint. It's not that. It's different than that.
Nervous.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go with sad. I'm going to say yellow is sad.
Okay. Diggins, yellow?
God, I want it to be anxious so bad, but that's not my answer. Because you did just say it's not nervousness.
It is not anxiousness, yeah.
I'm going to say yellow is like irritation. Like you're kind of annoyed.
I don't think either of these are it. A yellow mood ring is frequently associated with creative or intellectual engagement, as well as curiosity or mental restlessness. This color can also indicate the wearer's mind is actually processing a variety of thoughts and ideas, potentially leading to a state of confusion or uncertainty. But no nervousness. I know.
All of them can mean that you're feeling multiple emotions.
I would be so mad. I would be by the color and be like, it's all the same.
No.
Very different. It's like horoscopes or personality types or any of this bullshit, DJ. It's all just vague enough to apply to anything.
This is science, you guys, and I'm gonna Diggins. How about pink? Give me one word for pink.
Love.
DJ.
I'll give Diggins a free point if pink is in fact love.
There's no way it is. It's some stupid ass shit. It's like pink is means that you're feeling some combination of emotions that may include the need to piss.
How dare you, DJ Pink?
I'll say tense.
I'm gonna give it to Diggins.
He did it.
This is, according to this, arousal, interest, or a sense of emotional uncertainty.
There is a horny one.
There is a horny one. Yeah, a newfound sense of attraction or curiosity. So that's one for Diggins. DJ, orange. What do you got for orange?
I'm gonna say I so badly want to be like, it's avarice, it's greed.
Yeah.
To turn to lantern.
It's Larfleeze.
Green Lantern. Yeah.
I'm gonna say, God, like, what's one step below angry? Right? Irritated. Let's say annoyed. Yeah.
Okay.
A combination of annoyed and irritated.
I'm gonna stick with the Green Lantern method, which served me well with love, and say that it is, in fact, like jealousy or greed.
Fucking imagine.
Both of those incorrect. Excitement or eagerness, a feeling of unease. Obviously, there's all of them.
Nervous.
May indicate the wearer is ready to embrace a new challenge or experience. So that's like.
So if it turns orange, I better fucking get on it. All right.
Yeah. How about red? What do we think red is?
Who goes
first? DJ
right?
or Diggins?
No, it's Diggins.
Second.
Diggins, give me a red.
If red does not mean Angie, then this whole thing is bullshit.
Yeah, I can't give Diggins another free point. I'm going, red Hulk mad.
Okay, well, yeah, it is a high energy emotion such as passion, anger, or even fear.
Yeah.
The intense color can be a reflection of the wearer's heightened state of arousal, whether it be a context of romantic love, intense frustration, or a surge of adrenaline.
Fuck
green.
off.
Well, come on, guys. You know how whenever you get horny, you're also really mad? Like, you get it.
I get that, yeah.
I'm going to go green is happy.
Green, Diggins. I also believe, I don't remember this for sure, I think green is one of the ones that comes up in the movie. But like I said, the movie is not always correct about these. So
I'm going to say, I'm going to go Inside Out rules and say green is disgust.
I'm going to give DJ green. It is associated with emotional balance and contentment. The color can suggest the wearers feeling calm, relaxed, at ease, with a sense of harmony and equilibrium with their inner and outer world.
So the opposite of every other color.
Yeah, basically. So far, there's a couple more. There's like 5 more, which is shocking to me. This list keeps going. They're mostly in the bluish category. So blue-green. Diggins, what's blue-green?
Blue-green?
Blue-green? Well, okay, so green was like a state of emotional balance or like happiness or whatever.
Yeah.
So blue-green means a state of emotional imbalance where you're sad and happy. And so it's like confusion in that way.
DJ, what's blue-green?
I don't know.
Well, is it because I said a state of emotional imbalance? A thing that literally every one of these has said?
No, because you said like you're happy and sad. I mean, also...
Yeah.
Oh man, blue green. I'm gonna go with God. What emotions haven't we hit yet? Relaxed. I'm gonna say you're relaxed.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to DJ.
I did it.
Although I think mostly just because DJ's was close, but also Diggins was double wrong. Because this is actually a state of emotional harmony and balance. So it's the opposite of what you said.
Same thing as regular green?
Pretty much the same as regular green. Tranquility and satisfaction, serenity, whatever. All right, there are 5 more. Light blue, blue, dark blue, indigo, and purple. So, keep that in mind. But also that thing DJ said, or one of you said this, that you got to think of a new emotion. You don't always. Sometimes you can just go with the old one. We learned that 5-6 ones ago with the orange
that
deal.
Many times.
Yeah. So DJ, you're first. Light blue.
Light blue. I'm going to say it's restful. You're like very restful.
Okay, restful. That's a word. Diggins?
I'm going to say it's a state of emotional contentment or balance. Essentially calm or happy or tranquil or whatever the fuck.
right, that's a lot. You keep one word. Give me one word.
Calm. It's calmness.
Okay, good. Yeah, you're both correct. It's relaxation, calmness, and overall emotional well-being. Peaceful, content, optimistic frame of mind. All right, so that was light blue. Now blue. Give me blue.
Well, Dickens goes.
Diggins.
It's a state of deep philosophical contemplation. It means you're deep in thought, like the monks of old.
DJ.
This is regular blue.
Regular blue.
This is regular blue. This is. Oh, okay. This is a warm, calm feeling that is feels like a warm embrace.
A state of emotional balance, would you say?
Yeah, emotional balance snuggled up over you.
Neither are you getting that one, even though TJ kind of stumbled into it with emotional balance. But it's actually happiness, joy, and a generally positive emotional state, upbeat and sociable. So it's not, yeah.
Now we're getting more upper. Okay,
dark opposite blue. Of how we normally associate blue.
Yeah,
exactly. Dark blue. How about that, DJ?
Dark blue, sleepy.
Okay, Diggins.
I'm gonna say dark blue is like too much happiness, so it's kind of like manic.
I'm gonna say you're both wrong. Is a heightened emotional intensity, potentially signifying passion, excitement, or a deep sense of love and connection.
What? That was.
I feel like
pink
manic
or whatever.
Well, pink and blue are kind of, I don't know. They're both connected.
Different colors, yeah. I agree.
I think they're on the same half of the color wheel, together, kind of. To which you and positive transformative emotions. Diggins, indigo. There's only two more. Indigo.
Okay. I believe indigo in the Green Lantern universe is compassion. You feel compassion, or you feel like empathy.
Okay.
I don't know.
DJ.
I'm still like jokey, like you're in a very like jovial kind of mood.
Okay. This one's tough. I'm gonna give it to Diggins. It's a heightened state of sensuality and emotional intimacy, but also the reflection of the user's deep connection with their own desires, as well as a sense of openness and vulnerability in their relationships.
Another horny color.
Yep, another horny color. The last one we have here is purple. What is purple, you guys?
I'm gonna say it's the one where they want to fuck. It's
horny.
Max horniness, but max horniness. Even more horny than the other colors.
Well, that's what they say in the movie.
I'm going
That's
with
what they say in the movie.
I'm going with it.
Let's see. Purple. So that would be like red and blue.
Anger, happy.
As we've learned, these have nothing to do with the combinations of the emotions. They're completely unrelated. So I'm going to say purple is jealousy. I'm going to go with jealousy again.
Okay, neither we got it. This one's an interesting one. Purple is frequently associated with the sense of clarity, purpose, and spiritual insight. This color can signify that the wearer is in touch with their higher self, tapping into their intuition and creativity to navigate their emotional landscape with a renewed sense of direction and understanding. So, all right, with 5, DJ beats Diggins' 3. Now, you ready for the M. Night Shyamalan twist of this one?
I feel better that I got that wrong than like. I feel like that makes me a more intelligent and enlightened person, that I did worse at that game.
I just have one question. Where can I buy a legitimate mood ring that will have all of these colors so I can know where I'm at regulating? Right?
That's true. Please tell us the M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Yeah, please.
M. Night Shyamalan twist. So I was like, when did this article get written? Because I was just kind of curious. It's April 8th, 2025. So then I was like, wait a second. So I went down to the bottom of the article, and it does indeed say this article was created using AI technology.
Fuck off.
An AI.
So the whole thing's wrong then.
Diggins is not as in tune with his AI therapy as DJ is. So of course DJ, I know AI. I think it's close because I did read some of these, and those do, but yeah.
I feel double the thing I said before, where I'm happy I did worse.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at like another one of them, and they're close, I guess. Blue tends to be more passionate and excited. Red, obviously angry. That one we figured out. But the black and gray ones are all stressed, anxious. Yeah, no, they're pretty close. So I'm going to say by getting that one, and I don't know, the numbers were all over the place. And DJ, I do think you did better on the summary, because here's the summary, and I'm going to read it to you right now. For a movie called 2008's The Happening. A science teacher, his wife, and a young girl struggle to survive a plague that causes those infected to commit suicide. So
wow.
DJ mentioned the young girl. Diggins did not. I don't really care about the names, but also both of you had a like, I don't know, softer version of commit suicide, but this one did not. You both called
It was
it a
like
plague.
kill themselves as a softer version of commit suicide.
No, but your ones were Diggins' I think was take their own life, and I think DJ's was also something kind of a flowery version of that, like end their life or something. I can't remember, but either way,
Right, fair enough.
neither of you
I
said
don't
exactly
remember what
that.
I say.
Yeah,
I can't be held accountable for the things I say.
Exactly. That's fair. And DJ, you won, so congratulations.
Yay.
And yes. So DJ, as the winner of the IMDb Business Spelling Bee, you get to tell us first, what did you think of 2008's The Happening?
Oh, yay. I get to give my opinions. How do I say something that's unique? Do I have to? This movie's horrible. I was, while watching this begins, I'm like, all right, vague M. Night Shyamalan presence. All right, let's go. But, like, when it gets to the point where the dialogue is just not even trying and we are being attacked by the wind, I'm like, no. I will say, I'm excited for Diggins' summary. I'm gonna be interrupting so much. I took so many notes. There are just so many things in this movie that are like head scratching, and it's like, how was this made? Okay, I just want to put After Earth aside because I don't know how much of like a in the spirit of M. Night Shyamalan movies that are right, where it's like there's a big twist or whatever. Maybe After Earth's that, and I just didn't know. But
I feel like there was supposed to be a twist in After Earth, and somewhere in like the development and marketing, they decided just tell everyone it was Earth.
Yeah, I think After Earth originally had a different title.
Well, in this movie, it feels like there was supposed to be a twist, and then there wasn't, and it's crazy. It also becomes apparent, like near the end of the movie, that it's like nothing will be satisfying. We got to deal with like Mrs. Jones, and that's like a whole thing. And we'll ever figure out what her deal was? No, we just won't know what her deal was, guys. This is a very confused and bad movie, and M. Night Shyamalan should feel bad. And I know Trapped was more like, oh, this is like kind of funny or like whatever, but like I wonder, I don't know how many more movies this man has in him, but like it's gonna be to the point where it's like, oh, it wasn't like 50-50, like one good, one bad. It's like, was this man, 20% of his movies good, 25%? Like it's he's gotta start coming out with some hits because he started strong, and it's been like up and down, right? It's been down, 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 down. But this one isn't great. You don't think
that one magazine cover that said the next Spielberg after his first movie was maybe a little too soon?
God damn it!
Yeah, just so foolish of Time Magazine or whoever that was.
It's a data point I didn't have, and now I do. So
yeah.
Oh, I knew about that. Yeah.
Wow.
M. Night Shyamalan's stock was so high after Sixth Sense.
It really was.
Everyone should have sold it. Everyone should have sold that stock, get all the money you could for it. Because I don't know where it's at now.
Like,
but
if you're young and like weren't around for the M. Night Shyamalan period, it's like kind of hard to wrap your head around. But people thought he was like a genius for a few years there.
Yeah.
And to be fair, his first three movies are the first one, Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, Signs. So I would say three of his better movies. So like in the beginning, it made sense. I do remember when The Village came out and people were like, oh, that was kind of cool, but like kind of dumb though, right? And then, that was kind of dumb. And then Lady in the Water after that was like a real,
oh no.
Yeah, things aren't looking right.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got an interesting. I wouldn't say his stock is particularly high because I don't think Trap did super well. But I do think his movies tend to be produced in a way that doesn't make them bombs unless they really, really underperform. So
because he finances his movies himself. Basically, they're very cheap now.
Yeah. And this one you could tell. But yeah, I think that's the other thing too. Is like at least like Trap is a thing. Even old is a thing. This movie is fucking nothing, and it's very frustrating.
Happening.
But it's happening. But with that, I will pass it to Diggins, so he can give us his thoughts on The Happening.
Well, if DJ's the green mood ring of reviews of The Happening, I guess I would be more of a green blue, which is to say mostly the exact same thing. No, so like, so in order to say something slightly different, I will say that there have been like this is one of those things that people have gone back and like reevaluated, however many years later. And people have been like, and tried to rehabilitate a little, like the Star Wars prequels, where people are like, you see, the thing is, like, people tried to treat it as like a serious drama, but he was like, consciously echoing like B movies. And so it's supposed to be sort of like weird and silly, and you're not supposed to take the plot literally. And like, guys, I know that. The problem isn't that I thought it was a serious drama. The problem is he did a bad job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think there are this is a thing I get annoyed with in film criticism generally, where people sometimes mistake you can have interesting conversations in analyzing like the themes and ideas in this movie for this movie is good. And it's like, no, there's lots of interesting things to say about like the post 9/11 era, and like the sort of ideas that M. Night Shyamalan was getting at in this film. And I'm sure we'll talk about some of that. And I agree that that's like a very productive and like fun conversation to have. None of that makes this movie less stilted or terrible or like incredibly poorly acted, or just any number of ways in which it is a nightmare to watch. Which is to say, it's not fun. I mean, it's fun because it's so bad. Like, this is a classic, bad movie night sort of movie. Because M. Night Shyamalan has never been able to write dialogue that sounds like it comes out of a human's mouth. And he's never been an actor's director who can like get really compelling performances out of his actors. I don't know that either of those two problems has ever been worse than this movie. Yeah. Everyone sounds like a space alien all the time.
What?
And every performance is incredibly wooden.
Give this man some room.
My gun is my friend.
Oh, that was great. What's the thing that he says to the crowd of conductors? They say something and he's like, says something else, and then his response to that is like, why are you telling me no so many times, or something like that?
Why telling me a bunch of useless information over and over?
Why are you giving me a bunch of useless information? I ask a question and you answer it, and then I'm not happy with the answer. What's up with that?
That was an insane line, considering he was one question deep, or like two questions deep at the time, and they were just basically saying, we don't know, and he was like, that part was insane.
It's crazy. So yeah, it's a bad movie. It's fun to watch. There's interesting things to talk about with it, and I'm sure we will. But is the movie good? Absolutely not. What about you, Nando? What did you think?
Yeah, it's very, very bad. Mark Wahlberg's the worst part, which is something because the script is weird. But I just think I think an interesting actor could have maybe made this into something. And I do think it becomes more palatable with Mark Wahlberg. And I don't think an interesting actor could have saved this. But I think it was I don't know, just throwing out like a Bryan Cranston or something like that. Other actors who played teachers. If he was in this, I think it would have kind of flown under the radar, honestly. It's like, it's bad, but whatever. But yeah, just an awful performance.
Then again, I don't think Bryan Cranston could have delivered an iconic line read, which I don't even want to spoil.
Yeah, we'll hold on to that one. That one is beautiful.
You all know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah. And but I don't think anybody's doing a good job in this. Yeah, I think Zoe Deschanel's not very good in it. And I think she, more than Wahlberg for sure, has been in movies that are good. Like I like Elf, 500 Days of Summer. Like I don't even have. I like New Girl fine. But like Harold and the Purple Crayon was bad.
Yeah,
let's not forget that.
Yeah,
but
she's not like one of the best actors of all time. But she is an entertaining actress who can like do a good performance, especially a kind of like, thankless wife performance like this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get to it, but like some of the details of this movie are pretty weird, and that makes it fun. I do think the problem with this movie is, I don't want to say it's been talked to death, because I don't think that's it, but I knew all this stuff going in about like what was happening and stuff, and I do think that would be maybe a little bit more fun if you've never heard that before. But because the movie is so much of a meme, it's but also like, if you're watching the movie, I was gonna say,
we all knew the quote unquote twist of this one, right? Like, of course,
yeah. right? You knew.
Well, that there
So-
like is no twist, or do you mean like
the thing that gets revealed like
explanation.
half an hour in.
I actually didn't know that.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I knew this movie was bad, but I didn't know anything of substance about this movie. So
that's interesting.
I was at least surprised with that. So
I wouldn't say this movie's that similar to The Substance.
No, I wish. Well, let's see, there's got to be something, right?
Nope, you got me.
Yeah, I can't even think of a substance thing. Old lady in both, like,
Oh,
it's not even like Demi Moore's like an old lady, but like you know, it's all wrinkly
self-destructive
and stuff.
older woman.
Yeah, something like that. Maybe that's not bad. Doesn't even we don't even know where. Like, well, I guess we know where the substance takes place. I would assume it takes place. Well, it has to take place in LA.
Yeah.
Because Hollywood Walk of Fame. Yeah. So yeah, I really don't know. Think of something as the thing goes on. But yeah, no, it's pretty interesting. I'm, you know, it's interesting. But yeah, and I think Mark Wahlberg is, again, just like super. This may be the height of miscasting anybody in anything. Like, he's so wrong for it.
The action star as the high school science teacher who likes to talk about bees and then tells students they're, to pay attention because they might be an uggo one day.
Well, yeah, and like I've seen action stars who are like real big, like the Rock kind of action stars, play an intellectual in a way that's like believable, not like I'm not like, oh my god, that guy is Stephen Hawking, but like I could see a world where he's a teacher because he doesn't sound like he's reading his lines off of a cue card. But like Mark Wahlberg in this is so flat and so like I just he's like one of the only actors I can ever imagine doing this. And that part of it's pretty fun. So yeah, we'll talk about it more, but I don't think my opinion's that different from either of your guys's. But Diggins, as the loser of the IMDb isn't telling me, you get to tell us what you thought of what you thought of what was happening in The Happening by telling us what it was.
All right, so yeah, we got The Happening. We got your Mark Wahlberg and your Zooey Deschanel playing a married couple in this movie who are having going through a rocky patch, having some trouble. And speaking of a marriage that's having some trouble, that reminds me of the episode of Joey I watched this week. Do you guys?
That you're speaking of?
Yeah. How? That's insane. You fail. F. You get an F.
Oh my god.
Huge F.
That is a brown mood ring if I've ever seen one or whatever.
Oh, what's
Straight
yours
dude.
then?
DJ, give me the correct speaking of.
Right. Yeah. Actually, so speaking of people who may have infidelitous relationships with their significant others, named Joey. I also watched.
Speaking of the name Joey, I remember Joey was on TV today.
Come on.
I was.
Well, excuse me for trying to not give the most obvious answer.
No.
Sure.
Hannah and I watched the movie, and she was like, "Who's Joey?" And I'm like, "You know who Joey is.
You know who Joey is.
Joey from Friends."
Can you imagine if Matt LeBlanc showed up?
I would love it.
Like Alma, what's wrong?
Do you know who flirt with someone's wife for sure? Like that, without a doubt, that's Joey material. I mean, maybe you do it by accident, but. Yeah.
We'll get to it in the movie itself, but what Joey did, it turns out, is like so nothing.
How dare you, Diggins? It is the ultimate betrayal as far as I'm concerned.
Do you know who plays Joey in this movie?
It's M. Night Shyamalan.
Somebody play Joey?
It's M. Night Shyamalan.
He's just the voice on the phone.
Yeah.
When do we even hear a voice on the phone?
Like muffled from when she's talking to him.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
Real peanut speak,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, because of the Joey-ness of it. But yes, what happened in this week's Joey? I can't remember.
So of course, I forget the name of the episode. Joey and the Spying.
That's right. Yeah.
So we know last episode ended on that big cliffhanger. Alex saying her and her husband are going to separate.
Oh no!
It turns out what she means by that is they're going to live separately for a little bit while they work on their relationship. A thing they've been doing for most of the series anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know, guys. Maybe this isn't a huge deal, especially because the joke is he is moving out to like the next apartment over.
Which insane, by the way. That's just crazy. Like,
I mean, listen,
go of a town over.
If they're rich landlords and they just wanted to like have separate apartments for themselves, I wouldn't even say that's even a marriage in trouble. That's just like you have your own space. That's a perfectly normal and healthy thing.
I would say even one step further. That's living the dream, baby. You got your own bed, a couple bed that you can have. I would say you want 3 houses. You want the house, your house that is mess, and then her house is mess, and then the nice clean one in the middle.
For guests.
Yeah, for guests. For you to trick people into thinking that's the real one.
Yeah. So they're like doing a trial separation, I guess, is what it's supposed to be. But Joey, meanwhile, he's all jealous because Sarah, the neighbor across the way, is still dating Rick, the guy that he saw her with last episode. And he's like, I'm mad because I'm Joey and you should only be seeing... He doesn't say this to her, but he's like, people should only see me when they're seeing me. Mm-hmm. So he tries to show her a super good time. Like brings out all the stops, by which I mean he brings her some flowers and then they have sex while eating meatloaf.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Not bad.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty good date to me, personally.
Yeah.
Depends on the meatloaf, but you know.
Yeah, it's fair.
But
meanwhile, Alex has gotten all obsessed with what her husband might be doing on his own.
Oh no.
Which feels like maybe a thing you should have worried about when he wasn't in the same apartment complex, and maybe when he was traveling on the road by himself for months at a time, but whatever. So she has like holed up in Joey's bedroom to spy on him with her binoculars, like looking out into the courtyard, especially because some cellist that he works with, because he's a orchestral musician, I forget exactly what he plays. I think viola.
Wait, you're saying what? Yeah, because it's the violin, you know.
Right,
like
because the joke is that Joey thinks she's saying it wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he plays the viola. Anyway, so she's all like, I don't know about this cellist who's coming to visit, especially when she finds out she's a pretty girl.
Oh, no.
So she's spying all episode. Meanwhile, Gina is tired of Joey's assistant as a boyfriend because he's too nice. Guys, don't you hate it when girls think you're too nice?
Yeah, be more of a dirtbag, and then they'll love you so much. Mm-hmm. Girls don't like
that's
nice
how it
guys.
Is.
If anything, if I were her, my complaint would be, you look too much like every single other man on this fucking show. Why can we not find somebody with a different hairstyle,
son,
brother, new boyfriend on the other side of the thing? Honestly, Matt Lecter as the separation husband is the most interesting looking person on this group. It's crazy.
Well, Nando, you may not remember because it was 20 years ago, but that's just what people looked like at the time.
That's crazy. I remember. You know what? No, that's right. I remember the first time. What? Because when did this come out? Do you think like 2004? 06
or 04 to 06 maybe?
Yeah,
I think it was 05. This first season.
Yeah, sure.
The first time an Asian person existed. That was what, like 2007. Couldn't find them anywhere, and then I once you listen to Shari. So what am I talking about? Asian man. But yeah, they were. This is like, it's like they took all the notes from Friends and went, all right, they're all white, but what if they're one guy, the same guy over and over and over again, and the girls are also all the same girl over and over and over again.
It's like, what if
blonde, similar height? Like you could just swap them all in for each other.
Makes you think.
Crazy.
Yes, but she has trouble breaking up with him because he's so nice. So she tells him that the problem is that Michael doesn't like him. And, she can't date someone if they're going to get between her and her son. So he's like, tries to be friends with Michael to win her back and like takes him to Disneyland. But it turns out Michael's really annoying. And he's like, I'm sorry, Gina. I really tried, but I can't be friends with Michael even for you. And she's like, this, and she's just like, wow, that worked out better than I expected.
Yeah, right.
Okay, there's a few directions you could go in this, and I'm surprised they took this one. One I thought would be where they're best friends, and the guy goes, Gina, I did it. I'm best friends with your son. Now we can be together. And she's like stuck, and she's like, oh, I guess. Oh, that's so great.
Well, but then she has to have the real conversation of just like, I just don't like you.
Right? But the other one I thought was like, where he comes in and trashes Michael, and she's like, that is my son. How dare you say that? And then is like, you know what? I am going to date you, or like something like that. Like a weird like workaround. Like, if you don't like him, that means I'm going to date you, because actually my son is cool. But no, she goes
right, or like he's too mean now, so like he has stopped being too nice.
Oh, right, yes, exactly,
and now he fits the criteria she's looking for. That would be perfect.
Right. But no, they go with he shits talk the son, and she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
You hate my son, and I'm okay with this. All right. I gotta say, so I don't love it.
Weird plot line, but it's very like weird. The C plot at best. So what do you want?
This show does a horrible job writing off characters. Like Lucy Liu before, and now him. Like I don't think you can say they did a bad job writing off Lucy Liu, because they simply didn't. Exactly, yeah. But they give her like an emotional thing where it's like, oh, is this important? And then just we'll never see her again. And then I'm very worried for Sarah, I guess, is my thought process coming out of this. Like, what's gonna happen to her?
Speaking of Sarah, Joey tries to go on a date also to be like, well, if she's just gonna date other people, I will too, because that's explicitly the agreement we made. But he can't do it. He tries to date this other girl that he knows, but he's just thinking about Sarah. So he bursts into her apartment and is like, do you ruin my date by being so cool, and I want to kiss you. And she's like, well, I don't like Rick either. I'm only dating him because you're such a playboy. So they decide to go steady.
Wow.
Aww. It worked out after all, I guess.
Yep. And then Joey goes home, and Alex is like falling asleep because she's been spying all day. And Joey's like, it's okay, Alex. You just go to bed. I'll keep watch to make sure your husband doesn't kiss any cellists. Joey's just doing this to be nice. He doesn't think anything's going on, but what's that?
Right. And doesn't the what's her name knows that he's having cellists over to practice cello and stuff. Like, she sees that part, doesn't see the second part. I love that. She's having platonic cello sessions. As far as she knows.
Okay, it is their job. They're practicing. That's not crazy. So Joey takes over watching and he sees the cellist leaving, where they share a passionate kiss in the courtyard where his wife lives.
No!
What's wrong with you? Do it in the building at least.
Crazy. That they're like in the threshold, like wide open for not even if she sees it, just anyone doing it.
It's crazy.
Fucking insane.
To quote Unfrosted, doesn't that make it hotter? You know, isn't that what really gets your mood ring going pink? And
it gets my mood ring going.
That sounds awful.
Purple or whatever one it is.
Yeah, pink and purple were both horny. Well, I guess. Yeah.
What was the sensual one? Indigo.
Yeah, I think so. The ones around there were all kind of that.
They're all whatever you want them to be.
No.
Anyway, so that's the episode of Joey. Guys, what did you think?
Oh, I mean, this is a pretty bad episode. Also, another 2 in a row where we end on a real downer. Like, Alex's marriage.
This is the end of season 1 we're coming up on, so I think they were trying to have a little excitement.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on this one. On one hand, the Joey thing is kind of fun. The idea of like him going on a date with someone he doesn't really want to go on a date with, but we don't really see that. They just she comes home with them, right? And that's the first time we see the other woman. So like, that's a bummer. We don't get that. Then part of me is like, I can't hate an episode of a sitcom where one character uses binoculars to spy on someone. A classic sitcom thing.
That's true.
But it's not that funny when they do it in this either, because it's just her saying stuff. And like, it's not until the very end that we actually see something interesting happen. But like, her spying on him could have led to some fruitful, like, misunderstandings of sex or something like that. Like, look at that.
Some real Three's Company shit.
Exactly. Yeah, but they didn't really do any of that either. So I don't know. I will say my one standout thing is Alex shows up in this episode with some pretty bizarre looking pigtails. And
Yeah.
it's only in the first scene, I think, but it's just like they're constant. I think the people making this show know her hair is not working, and they're just trying everything. Like they had a character give her a haircut, they did shorter hair, they stuck with that for a little bit, and now they're doing pigtails, and that's
You
great.
don't like the Andrea Anders looks in the show?
No, I'm not. I don't think I don't like them. My guess is after the success of the Rachel, that executive is like really trying to come up with idea number 2. And he's been floating around, like been floating to Rachel and like living off of the teat of that idea for years and years and years, and now it's come home to roost, and he has to come up with a second one of those, and he can't do it. Like he only was able to do it once. Yeah, it's hard to have 2 game changer ideas like that, and yeah. So I don't know. Maybe season 2 we'll figure it out, but that's why everybody on the show has the same hairstyles. Is because that guy is just scribbling new hairstyles only for her. He's really interested, but it's not working. What do you think of this one, Diggins?
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of I don't know. It has the elements of some classic sitcom shenanigans, but it also, I feel like the whole Alex's husband plot line still suffers from the fact that A, we barely know this guy, and B, like the weird order of it. Like they did the whole like separation and like, oh, our marriage is in trouble over like really trivial shit last episode, and now he's potentially cheating on her. Like,
right.
But that wasn't even a thing she seemed to be concerned about until this moment. So it's, I don't know.
I remember didn't she confess to Gina that like the spark in their relationship was gone? I figured that would be the thing. That would be like okay, so that's, but no, it's this instead. He's cheating on her. And
yeah,
I guess it just makes it easier for,
I mean, it's, it's what in the wrestling world they would call cheap heat.
Right.
Yeah. Good. Good call,
now we're automatically against Eric and on her side. Because, he's doing a wrong thing.
Yeah.
You can't trust him.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Sarah is too much not a character to, like, actually end up as any kind of long-term love interest, which also limits how much I can be interested in that plot line.
Yeah, it's tricky to make a girl the ideal girl for Joey, but give her no traits. Like, you figure the ideal girl for Joe, and I guess she's not, the show doesn't, but I feel like maybe by this point the show did kind of want to see if this would work, but like make her, weird in a bunch of ways that would make her dynamic interesting with everybody else, but she really is just kind of a slightly smarter second Joey. So it's like, why would you want to see her in the room with the other ones? It would just be more Joey, which is, I don't know, maybe they thought that was what the people needed, but
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's just emblematic of the problem with Joey, which is it's not like a bad show, really. It's just like a very generic sitcom. And so there's not a lot of like personality or like things to like really make you that interested.
Well, yeah, they need to do more hijinks. Like,
yeah,
we need more bits where like Joey pretends to have gone to college to get an audition or something. Because like, what is he even doing now? He gets no job.
He's on deep powder.
Yeah,
I know. We never see it. It's no fun. Like, there's making him a struggling actor for the whole first season, maybe second season. I think would have been kind of compelling, but they had to do the deep powder thing so quickly. I don't know. Yeah, but not. But
that's just Joey, guys. Now we got to talk about some other Joeys.
Yeah,
namely the Joeys played by M. Night Shyamalan in the movie The Happening.
That's right.
All right, now before we get started, obviously, the Wheel is still being interrogated by the FBI in connection with a series of murders.
Oh, it does that shit all the time.
And listen, we agree with whatever the FBI says.
That's
we think
true.
If the FBI accused the Wheel of something, the Wheel probably did it.
The Wheel hasn't been charged with any crimes. I got to be very clear on this point.
Okay.
The Wheel is just a person of interest in the investigation.
That's true. But kind of suspicious, so probably should throw it in jail.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe double jail.
Could be.
Maybe throw it right into the sun. You never know. Maybe.
Who could say? But anyway, yeah, so because of that, I I have a replacement object here, which obviously, guys, we all know, is the wind chime.
Oh, duh.
So yeah, so if you have anything you want to say about the happening, or anything you want to drill down on, you just do a little like, ding, 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 ding.
That's great.
And it could be something that you let the wind do to you. So like you could see it happening and go, oh man, I guess I must have a size for this. So that's interesting.
That's right. Yeah, so just, interrupt with some wind chimes if you got something you want to say about the happening. Otherwise, let's dig in.
Cool,
right.
cool.
So it starts with a scene in Central Park, New York City, baby, greatest city on earth.
God,
we
the
love
greatest city.
There's like a couple of girls on a park bench, like talking about a book.
Mm-hmm.
Goyles. But one of the girls notices that everybody around them is just like stopped moving.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And she's like, what's happening? And her friend is also like all zoned out. And she's like, huh? And her friend very, very slowly takes out a pen in her like bun. Thing people do sometimes.
You saying pen?
It's more like of a hair thing.
Yeah, I
it
think
hair
it's like an
clip
enormous
thing?
hair needle, like what you would
Hair
use
needle?
to like.
Whatever.
It's whatever it is. It's something that I think looks weird in this shot.
Yeah.
You're like,
And then
yeah,
to no reaction from her friend whatsoever, which
No.
does not appear to be like part of like the weird unreality of the moment, but just the actress not reacting. Incredibly slowly moves the needle through her throat.
Yeah.
yep.
Like nowhere near enough force to actually puncture her neck. Your neck muscles are quite strong.
Mm.
But yeah, then we cut to a construction site also in New York City.
Mm.
Greatest city on earth.
Baby.
Hey, wait! I got a real quick question. Why didn't that
Hmm?
first woman who like didn't seem to be affected by the disease or whatever? Why didn't she get affected by it? Everybody seems to be affected by it at once. She's sitting next to someone who was affected by it.
Okay. I have a great answer for you, Nando. You ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's unknowable. Ah, shit. All right.
Well, Nando, in the version of this movie where they never explain what's happening and it's just like this bizarre sort of like unexplainable phenomenon and everyone just has to kind of deal with that, a la like the first Night of the Living Dead.
Right. Yeah.
Where it's not like a disease or anything. It's just literally just the dead are rising and nobody knows why. And it's just a thing you have to deal with.
Because it's happening.
Because it's happening.
It's happening.
I feel like in that version of the movie, that is like compelling. It's like, why was she the only one not affected? And it just like leaves you with all these like mysteries. But when you perfectly scientifically explain exactly what's happening and how and why, then yeah, you get to questions like, well, then why the fuck did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One of the many ways in which I think the whole B movie part of it just does not really work in this, despite what some people may claim.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, some construction workers are hanging around telling jokes about guys with long dicks.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Hey! Yeah, that's what that joke is.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, now I get it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But while they're doing it, a dude just falls out of the sky. And I think this is maybe one of the only scenes in this movie that kind of works. Partially because this construction worker guy, out of nowhere, one of the best actors in the movie.
Yeah.
Right?
However, he is standing in front of one of the worst actors in the movie. The guy over his shoulder who just goes,
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Oh,
But yeah, they're just like all freaked out because the dude just like fell out of the sky. They're like, oh my God, there was a horrible workplace accident. We need to get like the medic. But then more people keep falling out of the sky and they realize that just people are just jumping off like lemmings and they're all horrified. And then we're in Philadelphia in a classroom where science teacher Mark Wahlberg is teaching all of his students that science is stupid bullshit that can never be known.
Yeah.
By which I mean...
okay. Yeah, can you explain this a little bit more? I think it's fascinating, but yeah.
I think it's a crazy thing for a science teacher to say.
Mm-hmm.
But essentially, he's talking about how bees are disappearing. A thing people have been saying for like 30 years now, and yet they keep being there. It's based on a real thing, but I think people overstate the degree to which it's a real problem because bees are still around, and bee populations have actually been recovering. But anyway,
of what they said in this movie, like this movie raised the profile.
That's
so people
right.
are like, well, we got to take this seriously, otherwise we might get happening.
That's the reason. So he's like, bee populations have been disappearing for years. Can anyone explain why? And several plausible explanations are raised, like global warming or like human pollution, like disrupting the environment. But all reasons that could, especially an animal so deeply tied with the environment in which it lives and like susceptible to pollution effects or changes in temperature or environment. All very plausible explanations for why a lot of bees would be disappearing or dying. And each one, Mark Wahlberg is like, you could explain it that way, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he sexually harasses a teenage boy.
Bruh.
And makes him say something. And the teenage boy is like, what if it's just like fucking whatever and we can never know because knowledge is impossible. And Mark Wahlberg's like, that's exactly right. And it sounds like I'm joking. That's pretty much what happens.
Yeah.
The kid's like, nature's unknowable phenomenon that will never be understood. And Mark Wahlberg's like, yup, they'll put a thing in the books, but it's just a theory, and really we can never understand anything. True knowledge is impossible. You can never say anything with certainty. There's no point in studying science.
That's why part of me thinks like if a sixth kid in that class had gone, I think it's chemtrails, Mark Wahlberg would have been like, yeah, you're onto something, kid.
There we
You can't
go.
tell people that. So you got to say other stuff. Otherwise, they'll get mad at you. Because, that's what I think the science teacher thinks of stuff.
Also, the sexually harassing thing. Mark Wahlberg is like, you should care more about science because you're going to be ugly in a few years.
Because
you're like incredibly hot right now, but in a few years, you'll be ugly.
And I'm like, hey, Mark Wahlberg, there's hot 25-year-olds. You know, like, the fact that he is attractive now, I would think with anything, suggests that it's something he can kind of lean on. But no. No fool to think attractiveness is something that you could do in the future and be in the future.
Or something you could, put active work into maintaining and cultivating.
Right. Because your nose grows slightly. Like, when have you ever seen a person who is hot but for their nose? Like, that is not a deal breaker. So yeah, a weird scene. A weird scene.
Yeah, very strange.
Well, that's what nose jobs are for, Nando. Anyway,
that's true. Yeah.
But anyway, then the principal shows up, and teachers all get told there's some weird chemical attack in New York City, so everyone's being sent home.
Oh.
They don't know what it is. They think it's terrorists, but to be on the safe side. So everyone gets sent home, including Mark Wahlberg. Well, Mark Wahlberg's going home when he sees his friend and coworker John Leguizamo, who's like, "I think this seems really bad, so we're going to like the country. My wife and I. You should come with us. By the way, how's your sex life?"
Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg, instead of being like, "What the fuck? That's none of your business," is like, "What? Why would you? What? Huh? What? Why would you even? It's fine." And John Leguizamo is like, "I saw your wife crying on your wedding day. She's going to betray you one day. The perfidious woman cannot be trusted." Mark Wahlberg.
That really is what he said, though. It's so crazy that it's like, I didn't want to have to tell you this, but I'm assuming a while ago on your wedding day, I saw your wife crying, and I assume that means she is upset with the fact that you have to get married to her. Not that, like, I don't know, some relative is dead and can't be at the wedding or something, just that.
Emotional
or even
shock,
just, it's an extremely emotional day, and you might feel overwhelmed.
I mean, this guy obviously knows something. Well, we didn't say who he is. Like, we just say what his deal is. And I wouldn't say this is part of it, but maybe because of his jingle jangle jingle jangle. Oh, sorry, my things are going on. The probabilities have returned all the way from Captain America: Brave New World. This character is the leader. He knows all of the probabilities.
Yeah, because he's a math teacher, I believe.
He's a math teacher, yeah. So maybe that's why he's able to understand the emotions of a woman who cries better than anyone.
Of a woman.
A woman, yes. He's he's weird in this. They're all weird in this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
This is a weird character.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so Mark Wahlberg's like, yeah, I think you're right. We should leave because terrorism. And then you're like, oh yeah, this movie was made a few years after 9/11.
Yeah, something about the just like right to terrorism, but you're like,
it's like, oh yeah, he wrote this movie when George W. Bush was president. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think you can't. I don't think. Well, not again. I don't think we said this, but this is like one thought of mine. I don't think you can reference 9/11 if in a movie like this if you're not going to be consistent with how characters behave in a 9/11 type scenario. And then there's other bits of this movie where I'm like, I lived through post 9/11. We would obviously have this to do or something. Like there would be this thing. And yeah, these characters just don't do that. So we'll explain as we get to it. But yeah, that part's
Zooey Deschanel, who is Mark Wahlberg's wife, is like flipping out about her phone ringing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like having a really weird response to her phone. But when Mark Wahlberg gets there and he's like, we should go to the train station and go with John Leguizamo and his family. She's like, yeah, okay. So they pack up and they go to the train station and they're going to leave. But John Leguizamo's wife is late. And also as soon as he sees Zooey Deschanel, he's like, perfidious woman.
yeah.
I'm glad you decided to come with us despite your treacherous and wicked ways. and Zooey Deschanel's like, Mark Wahlberg, can I talk to you? Did you tell him we're having problems? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
I can't emphasize enough how weird John Leguizamo is to her in every scene in this movie.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Honestly, when I was watching it, I was like, oh, is she fucking John Leguizamo? Like, is that what the bit is? He's mad that she's not answering his phone calls. She has him saved his different name in the phone or something. Like, but that's not it. It's this instead. Just she's weird. Yeah. She's a weird guy.
And in case you didn't know her personality trait, she says out loud to Mark Wahlberg here, like, I don't like to show my emotions.
Yeah, that was helpful for me. That was really good. Real quick, funny story was I was watching it because Hannah and I were watching it together. That scene that goes before they go to the thing, and I think before they go to the train station with so just doing something with the phone or something, or seeing the call from Joey or whatever, and there was that transitions to train station, and I said out loud, I've been there. And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, that train station, like that's the Philadelphia train station. They didn't use it in the last one because they didn't have the budget, but now they do. And then she's like, oh, I thought you were talking about something else. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess so. But
Hannah was like, I thought you were talking about all those times you're on the phone with your mistresses.
Joey, yeah, Joeyetta or something, or Phoebe, Rachel, and Monica. yeah, there you go. Also, we haven't really. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. Movie takes place in Philadelphia.
Well, it doesn't. This bit takes place. I did say Philadelphia.
Yeah, but we didn't talk about the fact that Mark Wahlberg, and this is something that I think we've talked about in Transformers movies he's been in. It's inexplicably from Boston.
Yes.
And it's never brought up or explained. I like to believe when his characters aren't from Boston, it's because they were run out of Boston. And for this, I think
racism.
I think racism, or in this case, I'm thinking maybe like his beliefs about like, the flat earth or something, that he's just like,
I think he was a supporter of the Oklahoma City bombings in this universe.
Oh, it's probably that. Yeah. We should eventually, we're going to have to do a movie that actually deals with those, and we'll be like experts, but we're not going to learn about it until then.
Nope. Never.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they're trying to leave, but John Leguizamo's wife is late. But she's like, just get on the train and I'll get on the next one. So they do. Zooey Deschanel's sitting somewhere else because trains don't have assigned seating. So I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
But she decides to do it because she's like, I don't want to sit next to that fucking crazy guy you brought with us, Mark. Like,
that lunatic who keeps accusing me of things.
Gonna hit me or something. Like, I want to be far from him. But
but she takes the opportunity to be on the phone with Joey and is like, no, Joey, you're acting all weird just because we had tiramisu that one time. And you're like, oh, what does that mean? What is that code for? And the answer is nothing.
It is literally what we did.
It's the literal truth.
Hey, now I'm thinking about it. Do we know what her job is? Does that ever get explained?
I think so.
I don't think so, no.
Does she have a job?
I don't know.
Yeah,
she might
because
not.
he's a coworker.
That's right. Yeah, he is a coworker.
And her excuse was she was out working late.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So she has a job. We just don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Anyway, while they're on the train like stops moving and everyone keeps getting reports like, oh, more weird stuff is happening in New York and now in places that aren't New York too. So the train stops in Filbert, I want to say.
Yeah, which I'm not familiar with that city. They were going to Haversford, right? Or Haverton or
Harrisburg?
something. I think they were going to. I thought they were going to somewhere else.
No, I think it was a smaller town. I think
it was Haverford because that is a town in Pennsylvania. But yeah, I don't know Filbert. I think it's fake. I think they made it up.
Possibly. But then this is where Mark Wahlberg is like asking the train conductors, like, why'd the train stop? And they're like, well, we had to. And he's like, what? You just giving me the fucking runaround here. You're not explaining anything. What the fuck's your problem? And I think the fact that the train conductors are black has something to do with his reaction.
No, that's possible. Yeah.
I have a little wind chime here. I will say a train abandoning you in the middle of nowhere is the most realistic experience a commuter can have. Like, man, like
yeah,
this.
That's true.
This happened to me like 3 days ago.
It happened to me yesterday. Like,
yeah.
God, this is just like so relatable. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah, everyone's acting like, well, I can't believe this. A train just isn't running anymore and tells you have to get out. Like, yeah, that happens all the time.
All the time. And figure it out from where you are. Maybe there's some buses. Hopefully you can get back. Not our problem. We already got your money.
That's true. It's a scam. The whole happening is just a scam to get train people's money without having them to deliver them all the way to
That's why it's the government.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Interspersed through all this, we get some random scenes of people killing themselves. It's not important. It's you know, for how wild that premise is and like how much fun things you could do with that, it's incredibly boring.
That is true. I will say one of the things, because like it's like, oh, we're getting video shared. I love how like inconsistent the technology is. I know it's like 2008, so it's like, yeah, like there were like some like smartphones, but like people are getting like full HD videos like sent right to them.
You know, man, there's that guy getting
convenient.
They're like hanging out in a diner, and this one woman has a video of a guy getting torn apart by lions. And by torn apart by lions, I mean the lions couldn't be less interested in eating this guy.
Yeah.
They're just like kind of lazily swatting at him, and the prosthetic arms that they use just go flying off.
Also, it's weird that they're in that thing specifically, it's like a lion exhibit behind what seems to be, I think, glass, if I remember correctly. But the people are looking at this person like, look what's happening, look what's going on over there. And it's a zoo employee walking kind of, lazily into the lion enclosure. It's not doing anything exciting. It's not a person who jumped into the lion enclosure from outside. That's what would be like, whoa, that's going to be crazy. But you just go, oh, he's just casual because he knows the lions. But yeah. Do you remember the other pretty weird little death that happens in Philadelphia? This one is in Rittenhouse Square. You guys remember that?
I don't think I remember.
So if everybody's there, everybody freezes and stuff. Cop that we are following takes out his pistol, his service gun, shoots himself. And I said, was everybody going to make a line or something? And then a man just came up casually, picked it up, shot himself. And then the next woman, I'm like, they did kind of make a line. They just they knew to do that. I don't want to be impolite. Yeah, super weird.
But yeah, so they everyone decides they're just heading out. All these people have cars here, I guess, for some reason.
Yeah, well,
maybe some of them were local, like they didn't take the train. I don't know.
but all the train people appear to be here.
Yeah.
The thing is packed with people. The diner, like,
yeah.
And also, this never gets made official. It does seem like Mark Wahlberg is in charge of the group at this point. So,
Right,
I think they probably all just followed him. I also love in the scene before this when he's talking about the train stuff he talks to the conductor. He's like, why didn't you take us to where we're supposed to go? And he's like, well, we lost connection. We don't want to know where we're going to go. So like, we can't take you anywhere. He goes back to the family and they're like, what did they tell you? And he goes, nothing. And then he keeps going. It's like, they told you that the trains aren't talking to the other trains anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's not
down.
information she can act on, but it's like information, I guess. Share it with her. But that's just how much he hates her.
I guess so. Also,
so
it's
weird.
so. I mean, given I guess the population center thing is what they get to later. Given what the explanation is, it's so weird to me that this spreads out from cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, so everyone drives away, and Mark Wahlberg's like, "Oh, somebody, take us! We got a kid." But nobody will, and everyone just abandons all of them because people are terrible. But they find one friendly plant man, plant nurseryman, who's like, I'll take you out into the wilderness with us because we've got the room. But John Leguizamo doesn't want to go because he wants to get to Princeton. That's where his wife was heading on a bus. And he's like, I got to go find her.
Yeah.
But you guys should take my daughter, so in case it's dangerous. And this is where he says the last insane thing he'll say to Zooey Deschanel.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think all the other ones are like, I don't know. I guess you could justify as like, oh, he's sort of worried about his buddy and his marriage or whatever. This is like full on, like, he fucking hates her.
Yeah.
For no reason. Because he's like, you guys need to watch my daughter. And Zooey Deschanel isn't like being rude about it, isn't like, oh, I'm not really the mothering type, or like some other insane thing you might expect a character in this sort of movie to say. She's fully like, come here, Jess, we'll look after you, don't worry. Like being very like nice and like trying to, be kind to the daughter. And John Leguizamo's like, listen here. You don't take my fucking daughter's hand unless you move it.
and also like no transition. Like the line before it's like, all right, honey, see you later. And then it's like, oh, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
So
it's like
weird.
So hostile.
It really is.
Did the wind get to him already at this point? Like
maybe.
Like was he already crazy? I love wind chime for this.
Well, this wind chime's Irish.
This was immediately orphaning your daughter. Listen, man. Okay, so like she probably lost her mom. Like your wife's probably dead, and it's like this is clearly traumatized her. Like that she's lost her mom. You also just gonna be like, all right, sweetie, you go with Aunt Alma and Uncle Wahlberg, and it'll be fine, whatever. And I'll be back soon. It's like he must know this is a suicide mission.
It.
Yeah. I can't.
I mean, by movie rules, the man's super dead.
Well, but it's like it's irresponsible. It's a crazy thing to do.
Well, and I guess he doesn't have the mindset of like, don't worry, I'll be right back. It's a quick trip. Like you keep her because I'm worried the people will be a little weird, but don't worry, it'll be safe. He's like, I'm gonna miss you, too. Like,
yeah,
you think you're gonna die on this trip? Don't go.
Who knows?
So stupid.
And he does, and there's a couple scenes between it, but I'll just finish off John Leguizamo's story here. Yeah, the car he's in, they do end up passing by a bunch of people who like hanged themselves, and like everyone's dying in Princeton. They're like, oh no. Everyone gets freaking out, and then he notices, the roof of the Jeep that we're in is cut open a little bit. Because everyone thinks it's an airborne pathogen, which I guess it kind of is. And yeah, so the people driving crashed the Jeep intentionally, and he just walks out, picks up a big shard of glass, and slits his wrists. Bye-bye, John Leguizamo.
I got another wind chime here. Bring, bring, bring. ding. 86ing your third billing 30 minutes in. My goodness.
This is how he makes these movies not expensive.
What a choice. I guess. But like John Leguizamo, third build on this movie, he just like, nah, I'm gonna just take you out. You know.
One thing that I did learn about this movie, apparently it was filmed sequentially, which is unusual.
Okay.
And maybe John Leguizamo is just like, after I've seen what my character says, I think I'm done. Can we make my guy leave? Because I don't want to be in it. I actually looked down and now I'm looked at the rest of the script. It gets worse, so I'm gonna go.
I was
I've got ice ages or whatever it is I do. I'll be fine. Those coffers.
Part of me was convinced that it's like, oh, like part of this is like a dream, or like he'll be back, or like, like there's something where it's like, no, certainly he can't be like dead, and then it's like, oh wow, I guess so.
In a more surreal or like unexplained phenomenon type movie, you could do something with that.
Yeah. But
that's not the movie we're in, is it?
No.
So the nursery plant man, they stop by his house real quick because he wants to pick up some stuff, and he decides to just ramble insanely about how he thinks it's the plants that are doing it, because the plants can talk to each other and they can just spontaneously evolve and decide that to kill everybody. By the way, hot dogs, pretty cool.
Okay,
yeah.
So I want to talk about the hot dog thing real quick. I agree. They're tasty or whatever he says. Not a cool shape, though. Shape is tube. It's a very boring shape when you talk about, like, default food shape.
You know what it kind of looks like, Nando?
Oh, what does it kind of look like?
Kind of looks like a dog's tail.
Oh, yeah. That's true. And he probably likes, I don't know, likes looking at those when they wag.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I wouldn't want to eat one.
That means you're happy, like on the mood ring when it's
like on the mood ring, yeah.
Green?
In the green-blue area,
Blue?
yeah.
Happy, sad.
Maybe a little pink if you ask me, This actor's super weird. This character's weird, and I don't think it's the actor's fault, but just this character is very strange.
Well, nobody has dialogue that is written for human tongues, so, you can only seem so not weird.
Right, and I guess there's two kinds of bad M. Night Shyamalan dialogue. There's the kind where it's like people talking to other people about like what's going on, and that's weird. But then there's the exposition, which is always worse. And this guy mostly has exposition of like, this is how a plant works. And sometimes, they did a study where they found that plants are able to hear the trees or whatever. And like, yeah, this guy
and
sucks.
That talking to plants is good and makes them happy.
And like, is that actually true though, or is that something that like
people
say
that
can say?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how scientifically true it is, but people do say that.
Yeah. Well, let's not piss them off then. Be nice to plants.
Yeah, so they go off on their own, but there's a bunch of dead people on the road where they were going, and then they run into an army man played by...
Oh my god. Like, I know, but...
I was going to see if you guys would say it's Jeremy Strong.
Everyone's favorite Roy. Well, everyone's second favorite Roy.
In this movie.
Yeah, I was hoping the rest of them would show up too, but Diggins, you watch Succession? I can't remember.
No, never.
Are you aware of who the other Succession character is in this?
No. Who else is in Succession?
So he's like the kind of shitty fourth Roy sibling who he's the fail son of the Roys. They're all kind of the fail son of the Roys, but he's even worse. Played by Alan Ruck, the principal, I think, of this school.
Yeah, it's the principal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So two for two.
By
so
the way,
far on Roy's.
Good on Jeremy Strong for doing the shucks, she's at the military right there, and
like
he just leans into whatever fucking role he's in. And he's like,
dramaturgically, it works.
Yeah, he actually went to boot camp and joined the military. Did a tour in Iraq
to
prepare for this role.
Yeah, it was like I'm just a corn-fed little boy, and I'm here to help y'all with the military.
Jimmy Stewart, when did you get here?
Corn-fed little boy.
Oh god!
And the corn came from a maze or a cornfield that we all know from Signs, and that's the big twist. Yeah, same field.
Makes you think.
Wait, Signs can't take place in Philly, right?
No, I don't remember.
Is it the only one of them that doesn't really?
It might be Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it could be Pennsylvania. That's true.
but anyway, so a bunch of people are sort of like converging on this intersection, and they're all like, there's dead people where we came from or where we're going. So they decide to, based on the crazy plant man's advice, because he's like, there's, we got to go places where there's not a lot of people.
Right.
That's because when there's a lot of people, the plants are unhappy or whatever.
Yeah, and we did see at one point a map on the TV of like all the population centers that had been hit.
Yeah.
So we kind of know cities are bad, and that I guess that's where he gets this from.
So like a local realtor is like, there's like a really, really out of the way local town over here that we could try to go to. So the whole group gets together and they try to move out, but while they're moving, one group of them, they start hearing like gunshots and they start killing themselves. And I think this is when Jeremy Strong yells, "This, my firearm is my friend."
Crazy. Just it's good for him, man.
Now is that from something? Like, they don't make you say that in the army,
it's
right?
It's not Full Metal Jacket, like but it's derivative of.
But is it Full Metal Alchemist?
Oh yeah.
They don't use firearms except the boring people do. That's right. I don't know.
They say what was I gonna say? This character shoots himself.
Yeah.
And we like don't see it, but we do hear gunshots.
Yeah, pop, pop, pop.
And there's a full like 2 minutes of characters going, "What should we do?"
Yeah.
Hey, man.
So yeah, all the people with Mark Wahlberg are like, "What should we do? They're killing themselves." And he's like, "Let me think for a second." And they're like, they're like right there, and they're shooting themselves. We could probably, they're not like attacking other people. We could probably go and like wrestle the guns out of their hands and try to help them. And he's like, "Let me think for a second." And they're like, "People are literally dying, Mark Wahlberg, and there's a very clear and obvious course of action we could try to do. We're just for some reason waiting for you to say we should do it." And he's like, "No, just go, everyone shut the fuck up and let me think."
Then he does when he tells students, figure out the process, design the thinking, analyze the variables, and he has to break down science to figure out the fucking problem.
And you gotta make a shorter thing, Mark Wahlberg, teacher guy. Like, he's saying it to kids as they start leaving, and by the time all the classroom is empty, he's still saying it. It's way too long.
And the brilliant conclusion he comes to is like, when there's more people, it's bad. So we shouldn't help them and should go a place that's not here.
Mm-hmm.
All things they already knew and were doing.
Yeah.
No new info.
But also, like, it seems like they haven't split up from that group on purpose. Kind of. Like,
yeah, they kind of just, like, fell behind. I think because the little girl was tired.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, so then that, even the small group they have breaks up into several different groups. So now it's just Mark Wahlberg, Zooey Deschanel, the little girl, and 2 teens.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, we didn't say this is that scene where they're running from wind and like running in a field, and like wind is visually kind of getting closer and closer. Reminded me of
that's
Final Destinations. You know?
Right, yeah.
Characters looking at wind and going, "Oh, it's coming."
Just quickly, that's not how wind works. Like, wind isn't in one spot and then it like moves and like gets to you.
We can never know that. That's your theory.
Yeah.
But...
Oh, okay.
That's how you think wind works, DJ. But actually, all knowledge is unattainable, and maybe wind is a scary guy who chases you.
Maybe, yeah.
He's like starts in one place and then moves to another place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, the wind like splits at one point and it like saves them. Like, I didn't understand like what that was.
God,
you know what I'm talking about?
It could be that. I kind of thought maybe the wind was chasing other groups at that point or something. Like it was following other people.
I don't know. It's because is it the plants or is it wind god?
I was going to say. So here's the other question: is is wind plants, or is the wind cooperating with the plants? Like they're working together.
because wind is much more of like an atmospheric thing, right? Like, so maybe the whole Earth is mad, or maybe it's just plants. I don't
Maybe
know.
Mother Gaia is taking her revenge.
I mean,
Makes more sense.
Anything's on the table.
Yeah. Except for global warming. It's probably not
So,
that.
At this
not
point,
that.
at this
That'd be
point in the
stupid.
movie, we know, or like we think we know, because it's a M. Night Shyamalan movie. There might be another twist. We believe it is plants. It is plants
Yes.
poisoning humans to kill themselves.
Yes.
If it's not, this movie is in like. There's a part of me that even at that point was like, oh, maybe there is some other thing going on where it is God or whatever, or the government. Maybe it was the government. Like that's that could be the secret twist.
We occasionally get like news broadcasts where they're like, there's a secret CIA lab where they made kill yourself juice.
Yeah,
that's what's gotten out into the public.
But like besides those little things, every time a character has given like a theory on what it is, they're like, it's probably plants and it's probably a neurotoxin. So like there's no competing ideas really going on in this group. It's just
except for terrorism.
Why did the plants try to attack us? Yeah, terrorism. I guess terrorism gets thrown out once all the places get
a couple times.
But yeah.
But it is like that. Well, I don't know. Like, could that happen?
What?
Could the plants go evil? No. The plants go evil and
DJ, there were lobsters in Australia.
Right, but they found a primordial ooze. That
they're talking about a red tide, which is a real thing. But
right,
still.
yes, that is real. Yeah.
Are you asking me, DJ, if all species of plants could simultaneously and spontaneously evolve the ability to release kill yourself juice into the air?
Yes, that is my question.
In the sense that anything could happen, yes. In the sense of, does that make any goddamn sense at all? No.
Okay, great.
Yeah, I don't think that could happen.
Because at least to like The Last of Us, the show, because I don't think the ever full explanation was in the game, or maybe it was, but I didn't read the journal that it was in or whatever. But in the show, they were like, hey, there's this like kind of fungus that like, and like I've seen these videos where it's like there's like a dead ant carcass and it like takes over the.
It's a very well-known mushroom or fungus that can parasitize and sort of take over ants.
So that was an explanation where it's like, oh, it's a little far-fetched, but it's an explanation. There's no explanation in this movie. Like,
well, they give detailed explanations. They're just stupid.
But they're insane. That's crazy.
And I mean, like, frankly, the Last of Us explanation is fine because it's kind of vague. They're like, yeah, there's cordyceps that can take over ants. I mean, something happened and it started working on people too.
Yeah, global warming, like, right?
Yeah,
right,
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't need an explanation. So, whatever, that's fine.
Well, but in this stupid fucking movie, like, to the earlier part where the one girl in Central Park is, like, totally fine, why the fuck was she fine?
Right. And that's why I think this movie would be kind of interesting if, at the end, we didn't even need to tell the main characters this, but if it was kind of a, what's the other movie that this is, The Mist situation, where the characters think it's something, but then, well, I guess The Mist isn't this, but, like, if the reveal is all that stuff you've been doing was kind of pointless, like the people that have been killing themselves because they were born on, even numbered days or something stupid like that. And all the stuff with them running away from wind was like, what are you doing? Like, did you think it was wind? You idiot. Like, but, they don't, there's no twist, which sucks kind of. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it does suck. I mean, did this already happen where they make the one detour and then the Mark Wahlberg talks to the plastic plant?
Yeah, I was about to get to that.
Oh,
okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I will say at several points in these like explanations and like news briefs or casts or whatever, people do make sure to say, by the way these things sort of work, they might just randomly and abruptly stop happening for no reason.
Yep.
Oh, of course. They crest and then they end, and then that's it.
Yeah, just to really set up in case you were worried the ending would be stupid. But yeah, they find like a model home for a realtor, and they like go through it for some food or something real quick. And yeah, Mark Wahlberg sees a house plant in there, which is definitely plastic, and like talks to it and is like, "Please don't kill us.
We're good, I swear." This is where like maybe this movie could have been a comedy, but no.
Yeah, I mean that's what ending. If it was if the whole like going for B movie aesthetic sort of thing, if it was competently executed, it would basically be a comedy.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it that the things are silly and like don't make sense would be like a joke or like part of the movie and like having something it's having fun
Mhm.
with, but it's not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see a fun version of this movie where, like, at a certain point, Mark Wahlberg tries that with a real tree, and like the wind makes it like nod its head yes or no or something like that. And Mark
Right.
Wahlberg is like, I can speak to them. They're
Mhm.
intelligent, and we never understood it or something. Like,
I mean,
but
I think
yeah.
making this kind of movie is something M. Night Shyamalan has gotten better at. Like, I think Trap is essentially
Mhm.
this kind of movie where it's
Yeah.
kind of it's supposed to be kind of dumb and silly.
Mm-hmm. Old is
Um,
also kind of that, but I don't think it quite gets there. But like, there's
Yeah.
bits of Old where you can feel it coming through.
So yeah, so like, I don't think he's incapable of doing that. I think he has gotten better at it. And I think Trap mostly pulls off that kind of idea where it's like the
Mhm.
movie is not great and like kind of dumb, but it's like it's going for that, so it's fun in that way.
Yeah.
This movie isn't good at it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just kind of like hang out in this model home for a little bit, and then they leave, and they see a bunch of people show up to it and immediately start killing themselves. The guy starts up a lawnmower, and everyone like lays down so they can get their heads lawnmowered off, like in that Final Destination movie we did.
Yeah. Shout out.
So
But
that's
not
cool.
fun. Boringly.
Mm-hmm.
Just sit
Like
down
in the
front of the lawnmower.
distance,
Yeah.
and like not. There's no suspense to it. You just see people slowly start doing something, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I guess they're about to do that, and then they do it. Like that's
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and there's no fake outs either, right? There's no bit where somebody
Mhm.
seems like they're doing like killing themselves and then they're not or something like that. Like, how is that not in here?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
Anyway.
they run away and they find like a boarded up house, and they're like, oh, because the little girl Jess, she's really hungry, so they're
Mhm.
like, we should go in this house and get some food. It looks abandoned. And Mark Wahlberg's like, I don't know. I mean, we should we can't just break into someone's house. We should at least leave them money or something. But it turns out it's not abandoned. There's people in there, and they're like, don't bring the evil terrorist poison in here.
Yep.
Get out of
Mhm.
here with your evil terrorist poison. And Mark Wahlberg's like, we don't have any evil terrorist poison. We just came looking for some food, but it's okay. And the teens are, I feel like it's supposed to be that thing where it's like, oh, shitty teens are acting shitty and making the
Yeah.
situation worse. And like,
Yeah.
they're maybe a little ruder than they need to be, but all they're saying is like, we have a really hungry little girl out here, and there's not like a neurotoxin in the air. Just give us some food, you dicks.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's like I feel like in a movie that was more like trying to like draw that line where it's like the teens would be like being like horrible. It's like you people are just hoarding. It's like just give it to us or else we'll kill you, right? Like really, and they would have done stuff earlier. Like they would have like pushed a guy into a lawnmower or to the tox or whatever. Like they would have proven their shittiness. But like no, they're just like they're
Well,
teens.
that's the trouble with it, though, is like, even at this point in the movie with teens, I'm like, Mark Wahlberg, why are you even with more people than you need to be with? Like, they are
He's
teens, they could
protecting
probably
the
take care of
teens.
themselves, but like, if they did something shitty, then you'd be like, well, obviously you're gonna ditch them. Like, they're not your teens, so, you know, good luck, kids. But yeah,
Yeah.
instead they have to be
The
around.
core thesis of this movie is that you should never help other people ever.
Yes,
Right.
100%.
I'm only half joking. But yeah, so they're yelling, and like one of the teens kicks the door. I think not
Yeah.
like hard, just sort of like kind of angry, and is like, "Come on!" Kicks the door.
Mhm.
So the people inside shoot two teenagers in the head.
Yep,
The one in the head, one in the chest.
that's true.
What the
Fair.
fuck? What the fuckity fuck?
I must.
No.
This point must be emphasized. It has been less than 24 hours.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the craziest part to me, is like how little time passes. But also, these guys did say like, hey, leave or we'll shoot you. And then the kids were like, fuck you, we'll shoot you.
But they're
and
like,
then Mark Wahlberg's
kids,
like, we're not gonna
bro.
go.
Really
I mean,
gonna fucking shoot kids?
See,
really?
This is my thing, is like one of them's white,
Well,
but not both of them.
I was gonna say.
And,
Now,
yeah.
to be fair, Nando, they do shoot the white one first.
That is something that I would do if I was racist and wanted an excuse to get both, or to get the one at the end and not seem like I planned it that way. But
well, everyone would come to you and be like, "You shot the black teenager," and you'd be like, "I shot the white teenager first." And I was like, "Oh,
I don't even
okay.
see teenager color,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned."
It's just like a wild thing. I get that like Shyamalan was like, I gotta dust these teens so he gets like the real meaty shit at like the latter half of the movie, but like,
And like
anything besides getting them being shot.
I think he is trying to make a point about like mass hysteria and like post 9/11 paranoia and the like, you guys remember Anthrax, right? How everyone like freaked the fuck out about that, and it was like 2 envelopes with I don't think it even really was anthrax. There was like one real anthrax envelope, maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember what the payoff with that was, if it was even actual anthrax ever, or if one of the envelopes was just like, this has anthrax in it, and everybody got real scared. But yeah, that was a lot of it was like shoe bomber and stuff, and us going, oh man, this is the thing now, and then it turned out to be pretty much nothing.
So I think he is trying to make some kind of point about that, about how people reacted very irrationally and paranoically in the wake of anything that could even be remotely construed as terrorism.
Right.
I think he's making that point very clumsily, but I think he is trying to do it.
All right.
I mean, it's a bad example because in this movie, it's all happening. The word is the name of the movie. Like, you could do this in a movie where it's not happening, or it seems to be happening, but we're not sure if it is. And then it's like, oh, well, now this paranoia is. But now it's like, no, the paranoia is justified. That's killing the kids isn't, but yeah.
That's one of those things that like people who try to like re-examine the movie and say it's good do, where it's like it's really about like mass delusion and hysteria, and it's like none of that's like literally really happening. It's just sort of like this mass panic, and I'm like, yeah, any movie can be good if you pretend it's a different movie.
Yeah. All the things that don't make sense, the characters aren't doing that. That's in their head. So.
And then at the end, Mark Wahlberg was actually in a coma the whole time, you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I don't want to discredit that as a mode of analysis. Like, it can be interesting to look at movies in that lens, but like, ultimately, in my opinion, it's like, you have to look at the movie that's there, and nothing in this movie supports the idea that this isn't supposed to be like representational.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Anyway, so Mark Wahlberg and Zooey Deschanel and the little kid run away because 2 maniacs just shot 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Although there is a long time where Mark Wahlberg is just looking at the second dead kid in the face that the kid was shot at, and I was like, is he gonna bring this kid back to life or something? Because like, but then I'm like, this kid's face is gone. Like, we don't see it, but you see the back of the head, and it's like, if that's what the fucking, it's a shotgun. There's no way. But yeah, I don't know, weird.
So they run away. They're all upset and scared. And I think this is where they meet an old woman.
Mm-hmm.
They meet an old
Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones.
Mrs. Jones. Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck he was going for with this character.
I don't.
He saw fucking World of Worlds and remembered that they kind of did this in that movie from a couple of years before. So he decided to do that. It makes sense.
He looked into the future and watched 10 Cloverfield Lane and was like, it's interesting when you get taken in during an apocalyptic event by a person who's unstable. Mm-hmm. But, like, did a bad job of it.
No, not even a little. And this is where I have to do my only real other wheel chime, or wing chime that wheel-ish chime. Ding, 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 ding. You guys remember post 9/11? How they like told you to do shit. You know? Remember, like, I don't remember when this was, because I don't think this was a reaction to Anthrax. I think this was a reaction to like the whole like, what if there's a bioweapon that they shoot at with a missile or something, and we're like, you gotta close up all the windows and you gotta tape all the entrances into house and shit like that. And I think at the bare minimum, it's like you should cover your mouth so you don't get the air in your mouth. But like, no character in this entire movie, besides those 2 women with the knitting needles and stuff, even thinks to cover their breathing holes.
Yeah. In like a throwaway, like showing some people watching news scene, we see 2 women in gas masks, and they're probably fine.
Yeah, I hope so. They seem like the only two people that know what's going on. We're gonna need them for the second one of these because, yeah, I was just waiting for some bit where some character does this. That's all it would need to be. But they could not be bothered, and it's so weird because, like, in post 9/11, that's people would be doing that. Like, people did that a lot, but I don't know. It's weird.
But yeah, so Mrs. Jones lives in this like podunk town that they saw on the map, I think. So she has like no contact with the outside world, doesn't even know the suicide thing is happening.
Yeah.
And she's like insane, but invites them to stay with her because she's like, I guess that would be the polite thing to do.
She comments on how she's drinking her lemon juice or lemon drink. My lemon drink.
You eyeing my lemon drink, boy?
Hey, what is anything interesting about this house? What could it be?
Oh,
what is it?
By the way, when you're in the the farmhouse over there and over here, there's like a thing connecting them underground so you can hear what someone says in the one thing from the other thing.
Wow.
And you're like, I don't know why you told me that.
Yeah.
Well, this lady's so crazy. It's like, all right, I guess non sequitur is just part of her thing.
Yeah, she's like the Joker. She's just crazy. She just does things. You can't explain it.
The ultimate M. Night Shyamalan character. Someone who's just like crazy and just says shit that's plot relevant. It's like, you're like, nobody would say that. Well, she's crazy, but she does know all this stuff. So there she goes again, telling us things we'll need.
But yeah, they have a tense dinner with her where she says a bunch of crazy shit and like yells at the little girl and hits her, but then gives her a cookie.
I say hits. She like smacks her hands.
Smacks her
hand, it does one of those. Yeah. But I couldn't figure out. Like, I was like, what do you think the end game? Not end game, but like, what's this? What's going on with this woman?
I have no fucking idea.
She's clearly just mentally unwell.
Yeah. But like I was like, no, she started it.
Oh, you thought it was that? Like she was a witch or something, and she like
she's a plant woman. She's
poison
ivy.
But maybe.
Oh, sick.
Anything
what if
was
poison
plausible.
ivy wasn't as sexy? What would we even do? No one would even know what to do.
I mean, eventually poison ivy has to get old, right?
I don't know. She gets reborn a bunch. I feel like you can just keep
comics.
Yeah. But I guess part of me was like, is she a shut-in? Like, is she an agoraphobe? Is she like a prepper? Why is she so far from everybody? Does she hate people? Like,
I think prepper might be more of a thing because she says like she's not connected to the grid. She grows her own food. She's like completely self-sustaining.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. It is weird though.
Yeah.
But she lets them stay there, but she's like convinced that they're trying to steal from her or like kill her or something. And I'm just gonna do a guys. I think on a count of 3, we all have to say Mark Wahlberg's iconic line read in this movie because Mrs. Jones is like, "You're trying to steal from me," and he's like, "No," and she's like, "You're gonna kill me tonight." Or you're planning to kill me. And what does he say, guys? 3, 2, 1.
What?
No.
Yeah. And I think it's even her line is something really specific, like, you're going to stab me in my sleep. I hear you talking about your plan to kill me. And
what?
I guess that's why this seems out of character for this woman. It's like, I'm like, what is it? Why would she take them in if she thinks they're going to kill her? And what does she think they are? But she's just M. Night Shyamalan crazy, so it's all fine.
But yeah, I think even we didn't truly capture the utter insane nonchalance of Mark Wahlberg's reaction to being accused of plotting murder.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just like, what? No.
If I'm that old lady, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to do that. That's one of those That's one of those like, what? No, I'm never going to kill you in your sleep.
I'm not going to rob.
We didn't even say we were doing that.
Yeah,
but she doesn't know he's the worst.
That's your
ever.
idea. You said that.
Yeah. So
really, if we do that, that's your fault.
That's true. So we should just act like it already happened and you should leave. But yeah, she's Yeah, and then he's just like, and that's the end of it too. That's the end of that conversation. There's
She
not
just
like
leaves.
it's like, all right, I guess she thinks we're gonna kill her in our sleep. Let's all go to sleep too and see if she decides to do something about it. Like,
And the answer is she doesn't. Nothing happens.
nope.
Nobody does anything. So the next morning, he goes to try to find her. He's like, Mrs. Jones. And so he goes over to her bedroom where there's just a big doll in her bed.
Oh my God, yeah.
A big freaky doll. And he's like, what the fuck?
But he gets so close to the doll while still asking if it's Mrs. Jones. Like, he's like 3 feet from it. And he's like, Mrs. Jones, is that you in your big wooden face and big wooden body? Like, you know it's a doll, right? Like, you can ask it where she is, but I don't know. This guy's, yeah.
Yeah. But then Mrs. Jones appears from nowhere and is like, you're trying to steal my big scary doll.
What?
Get out of here.
No.
Oh.
She's like, get out of here, you thief. And he's like, I don't know what the fuck are you talking about? Why would I want your big scary doll? And then she just leaves the house for no reason.
Yep.
And she goes out to her plants and like talks to them, and then she gets plant madness and smashes her face in the window and kills herself.
Why would the plants want to kill Mrs. Jones? I don't understand.
I don't know. Well, that's the problem, DJ. It's gotten so targeted that now they're going after individual people.
Oh no.
Yeah. That'd be bad.
So Mark Wahlberg closes all the doors and windows and is like, no, I have to go find my wife and the small child we're looking after and telling them that it's dangerous. And he goes to the room where you can hear from the other building and he can hear them. Wow, just like the old woman said.
That's right. She did. I forgot about that. You said she had a secret room. No one's a secret, but the secret hole in the room. So it's almost like you're in the room with them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you call, what's that called? Chekhov's gun. If you have a gun in Act 3, you have to fire it in Act 3. Yeah.
If someone in a play tells you about their cool gun that they have to fire it immediately.
Yeah. I guess Chekhov's gun is if you have a gun on page 1, it has to be fired by the end of page 1 or something like that. 'Cause that's what it is in these.
That's right. So he tells them, close up all the stuff. The plants are attacking even more. Oh, I'm so scared. And somewhere in this, she told him that what happened with Joey. I forget exactly where, but the whole story.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right.
The story is literally after work one day, a coworker asked her to go get some dessert with him. And she said yes. And she split a tiramisu with him. And then she went home.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
But he did keep calling.
He did keep calling.
He called. It sounds like. Yeah. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say during the emergency. Like,
yeah.
So an excusable time to be checking in on somebody just generally. Which is why I'm like, you can come up with a better lie. If you want to just be friends with Mark. Oh, yeah, it's just somebody, a friend of mine. I guess they're worried about me. I don't know. And what were you going to say, Diggins?
I was just going to say, like, he seems to be acting like they had a glorious love affair.
Yeah.
And like, in a weird way, I mean, other than the fact that she apparently feels so guilty about this, she feels like the most normal character in the movie, because every time someone says or does something insane, she's just like, what the hell? Why?
Yeah. She's getting 500 Days of Summer by a guy. She's at the end of the period where the guy's obsessed with her and is calling her and stuff. But she's speed running it, so it's only 1 day of summer.
Yeah, I guess so.
Dessert to nothing.
But yeah, so then I will say, unlike John Leguizamo, who probably would have gone fucking ape shit if he heard that.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good thing he was dead by then.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Wahlberg
touch my daughter's hand.
Mark Wahlberg genuinely seems to take this pretty well, because he's like, okay, you wanted to tell me, sure. And then later is like, I saw a hot pharmacist once and I bought some cough syrup from her, even though I didn't have a cold. She's like, are you joking? And he's like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay.
She said, thank you.
Well, thank you, because it's like she felt so guilty about the thing, and he's making it clear, like, I think it's silly that you were guilty about it. It's nothing.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I bet he had sex with that pharmacist, though.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg characters, you can't trust him.
I don't know. It feels like the one like moment where M. Night Shyamalan had some idea of how humans work. The speech itself is still like clunky and terrible, but like the sentiment of telling a silly story to show that like, yeah, I think that's roughly equivalent to what you told me. It's really not a big deal. Is like a normal thing a person might do. But yeah, so now they're like, oh, I love you so much. I'm so scared that we're going to be killed by evil plants. And then, in what would be brilliant if it was the sign that they had been infected by the evil plants, but I don't think is that, they're just like, we should just go outside and accept that we're going to die because it's so scary. And so they do that, including she brings the little girl with her when she does it.
Yeah, what
absolutely psychotic behavior. But guys, remember when the news report said it could spontaneously stop for no reason?
Whoa!
It did say that.
Good news.
What happens?
It spontaneously stopped for no reason.
Oh, it crested. That's great. Wow.
So they don't get infected with the kill yourself juice, and in fact, they're fine. And everything's okay. A few months later, they're back living in Philly. They've adopted Jess. School's starting up again. Alma is pregnant. They're gonna have their own kid.
Woo!
Everything's coming up Mark Wahlberg. But a news report's tells us everything we already knew about how this was the plants wanted to kill us because we are mean to the plants.
Fucking plants, yep.
And then the newscaster is like, I don't know. If this had happened one other time in another place, then I think that'd be pretty believable. But until then, I'm skeptical. And
it was probably the government.
Probably the government did it. And then, we're at the Tuileries Garden in Paris. And a scene like at the beginning, two guys walk in just shooting the shit when one of them starts acting weird. And then the one that's not acting weird realizes that everyone around him is acting weird. And then we hear like gunshots or something, or like sounds of people killing themselves. And the guy's like, Sacre bleu!
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie.
Well, I guess that... No, go ahead, Nando. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think this is the most realistic part of the movie, is when 4 months later, everyone's just giving up. Like, not giving up, but like pretending it didn't happen.
Yeah. Anything that happened, going back to work, everything is exactly the same.
Again. Yeah. Why? Okay, here's my question. This is genuinely, would you, say you were from Philadelphia, this happened in the Northeast, would you go back to Philadelphia being like, well, I guess it's not going to happen here again? Or would you move away from Philadelphia, be like, well, this maybe is the only place it's going to happen. Maybe it'll happen again, specifically here. You know?
Now, Nando, I actually think, for the first time in mostly nitpicking history, this is a crisis that I would get through completely fine.
What? Why is that?
Because I don't want to live anyway. Plants can't do nothing to me.
Oh, that's a good gambit to say to the plants, too. Yeah, that would be so funny if someone was just whispering to a tree, like, fucking do it. I don't care. I'm too strong.
I don't even give a shit. Come on.
Yeah.
Do it, motherfucker, do it.
Here's my question.
It's like, oh my God.
I just take a big old huff of plant juice and I'm like, all right, here we go. And then I don't feel any different. I'm like, oh boy.
Oh, no.
Oh, I got some things to think about. Ooh.
Here's my other question about this. Well, what's your question or answer, GJ? Would you move back into the city, expecting it got it out of its system there, and might happen in California next or something, or would you move west?
Yeah, I would go desert. I would find desert. I'd be like,
I would live somewhere where there's no plants. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. I'm like, they can't get me in like Arizona or whatever. You know,
like Antarctica or something. Like, just go up to the tundra. Yeah. I think I'd go back to New Jersey because it's just too much work, you know, to move. Moving sucks. You know, all your stuff is already there. Might as well just hope there's not going to be another one.
If the plants get me, whatever.
To your point, Nando, like, no one would learn their lesson. So we just go back to normal, even though the plant warning shot's like, come on, guys. But also, like, all right, let's say that everyone bought into like plant theory. Like, you get the fucking president to go out into a field. Plants! Yeah. What shall we do? Tell us.
Oh, you definitely would need a plant ambassador.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
What will satisfy you to have
Guys,
you not kill us?
this is the universe in which we need to elect Marianne Williamson.
Oh yeah,
She
her
can
and
talk to the
RFK.
plants for us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we are but your humble servants, plants. Please tell us what to do. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then my other question.
Yeah.
In the Christian Bible, at least as far as I know, maybe just Catholic Bible, suicide is a sin that keeps you out of hell. Does this count? Is God up there going?
Oh, if suicide kept you out of hell, then
or
there'd be no reason not to do it.
That's true. It keeps you out of heaven. Is God up there going? No, I technically. Sorry, my hands have died. It's going down, buddy.
Rules are rules.
Listen, I didn't make the rules.
Yeah, I didn't make the rules. There's a big turtle that told me what I had to do, but yeah,
Abraham interpreted the rules, and then and Moses got the commandments, and that was that.
It's true.
Yeah, you of course refer to the big turtle that the world is on the back of.
Yeah, it's a big turtle, and it's all you need.
Yeah.
And it, I imagine, made those rules, and God has to enforce them. But yeah, I wonder if people would. A very pious person, otherwise fine, would wake up in heaven and be like, "What, are you kidding me? It was the plants. Like, it doesn't count." And there'd be lawyers going between heaven and hell. Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Well, it would be, all the lawyers would be in hell, so they'd be right on hand.
Exactly. Yeah, and a lot of them would be from New York and Philadelphia and stuff, all the big cities. So probably lost a lot of lawyers there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird movie.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
Do you think he thought he was going to spin it off into Happening to France or something?
Oh man,
maybe.
Maybe
this was the original draft of Under Paris.
Yeah, this could have been.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the sharks and the global warming versus the plants. Who's going to survive? Who's going to be the powerful one?
Really makes you think.
Yeah. Yeah. Is this the worst M. Night Shyamalan movie you've ever seen?
That I've ever seen, yes.
I think so. I think Avatar is a bad adaptation, which makes it really bad. But I think as a movie, it has more going for it than this one does.
I think Glass is worse than this, too, because it's got more potential.
See, I guess that's the Glass squanders more potential, but also by virtue of the fact that it has like some good actors doing okay performances and like some ideas that are at least kind of interesting. I'm like, well, I just think it's better. It's just more disappointing.
Right. That's my same problem with Lady in the Water, which I also think is very bad. Maybe my opinion would change if I watched it today, but I remember seeing that when it came out and going, I hated this. So maybe that's but I think that just by virtue of having Paul Giamatti is kind of interesting. But yeah, Mark Wahlberg's just not a good actor.
No.
He was good once in Boogie Nights, and then he just kept doing
coasting on that ever since.
Yeah, pretty much. So wait, do we know who gave us this one? I forget if we ever looked this up. This was because this was a debt. So I just want to thank them.
Was this one of the other March Madness ones?
I want to say yes.
Possible,
but
I don't know. We'll never know. So whoever you are, you can just use this here.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, or we hate you, or whatever. It's a bad movie.
No, I do not hate them. I don't hate them.
Don't hate them. No. Well, you know what? Let me look up. Let me see if I can find Batman Forever happening in the thing. But yeah, so we're getting there on our debt.
I think we only have 2 left, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Nice.
That's great. Yeah, and see how those go. Eventually, we'll have to do them, but then we'll also get our debts all topped off in a couple of days. So that'll be exciting as well.
We'll never be debt free. Is the takeaway.
That's how the society works, Like
that's how it's set up. As soon as you pay off one, you got to take out another loan for something else.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So, do you guys want to get to our classic segment, though?
Let's do it.
I would love
All right.
that.
Let's recommend some things to the fine people.
Guys, you know how last week I recommended the Titan submersible documentary?
Oh, yeah.
I do remember that.
I'm back with another Titan submersible documentary.
Oh, it's just like Firefest where there's two at the same time.
Yeah, there's two at the same
competing
time.
ones.
And is
There's
one of them better than the other?
Yeah.
One
of them made by the Titan submersible a little bit, and you're like, well, I don't trust this one.
so the other one is on Max. It's like done by Discovery. It's Implosion, the Titanic Sub Disaster. I will say, now having seen both, they're like the same. You got different people who are in both. Like, if you're really want to be into it, you can watch both, or you pick one. Like, if you don't have Netflix, you can watch the Max one. If you don't have Max, you can watch
Which is
the
the
Netflix
one that keeps insisting that obviously the guy was a genius.
Neither. I will say the one interesting thing that this one gets into is that, and this is kind of a crazy thing to say, but like, if the guy wasn't on the submersible and the accident happened, he would have been sued into oblivion and like probably would have went to jail. So like, they're like,
what,
well,
because
maybe
of his history of making statements about how he would make this as dangerous as humanly possible to save money?
Yeah.
You think that would open him up
that-
to legal ramifications?
So like, it was like kind of fun. It's like, well, maybe he went on to avoid such things.
Oh, that would be smart, actually. That'd be really smart.
Maybe he huffed the plant juice.
Yeah.
And that's why he did all this.
Long con. But yeah, I will say, so besides that, I am watching Love Island USA, and we're covering it on Roses and Rejections.
Oh, yeah, I hear someone very special was on recently.
Yes, incredible. Like, what a fucking get. I think the show's very good. Slow start, very good. The problem is, if I tell you, hey, watch Love Island USA, it's good, like, we're already 2 weeks in, and it airs every day. So you'd have to watch, like, 14 episodes to, like, catch up, and that's, like, kind of crazy. So, like, you have to watch it every day. Like, I don't watch it every day. I watch, like, bits and bobs while Michelle's watching, and I, like, do my best to keep up, but, like, I'm not, like, caught up. But, like,
how long are the episodes?
It's an hour.
Yeah. So you bring the same diligence to your podcast with your wife as you bring to this one.
Fuck yes. But yeah, like, I watched the full episode yesterday with like Megan Thee Stallion was in the episode.
Yeah,
It was
from
fucking
She-Hulk.
crazy.
She-Hulk's own
From
Megan Thee
She-Hulk.
Stallion.
And like, I watched that whole episode, and like, right, I know enough to like basically be current us. And Michelle, like, oh wait, it was everything going there, but like it's been good. It's fucking crazy. And you can catch up on Saturday. They air what they call After Sun, which is just like the recap episode. So like,
it's not the movie After Sun, is it? They should make sure
That'd be
it's not
no.
that. That would
They
bum
just air
people
the
out.
movie After Sun.
Yeah.
I don't see what that has to do with Love Island at all.
Ireland is an island where people love each other. You know, it's an island.
You know, I did learn that from Sinners.
Yeah.
I guess I should say briefly what the show's about. So it brings on a bunch of singles, they couple up, and then there's all the chicanery that. The fun part is, because it airs every day, they're like filming it as they air it, right? So it's like, it's happening not like in real time, but with like a 2-day offset. So like America gets to vote, and like you can have like an influence on the show. So there was what's called like a recoupling, and America voted on the new couples, and one of them was just a troll. Like, they took one of the girls was with a guy, they broke that couple up and put the guy with a girl that the original girl he was with hated. So like, it's full just like madness and stuff like that. Then at some point they will go, so when they get their finalized couples, they will go to Casa Amor, and then Nando, it's like a Temptation Island scenario where they split up, and then they go to like a villa with just like hunky dudes and like hot ladies, and then their relationship is put to the test.
But they send the men to the hunky dude house and the women to the hot lady house.
That's truly the test. It's testing your sexuality. That's your preconceived notions.
By the way, I don't know if you guys know this. Casa Amor means love house.
Oh my, that's so clever by them. So Anyway, it's like I show I'm having a fun time with it. If you're a reality TV junkie, you're probably already watching it. Seems to be very in the culture. Like I had no idea like how many people watch Love Island, but it's like very out there. I think it's like an event because it goes on for 6 weeks and then it's done. So, but yeah, that's been good. But I know that's like really hard to like catch up on. So pick a Titan submersible documentary to watch on Max or Netflix and then have fun with that.
You don't have any recommendation between the two? It's just pure coin flip?
The Max one, it was a little more.
It's HBO again, DJ. Keep up.
My bad.
That's true.
The HBO one was a little harder for me to watch because they interview the mom of the teenager who died on the submersible.
The only innocent victim.
And that's fucking tough. So, like, if you think that might be too much, then, like, jump to the Netflix one because it's a little less, like, gritty in that sense. So, that's, like, the nuanced split I would put between the HBO and the Netflix one. So,
that's fair.
Take it with what you will. Diggins.
I have 2 ones I'll get through really quickly. First of all, everyone hates when I do this, but I'm doing it anyway. Fuck you. I saw a Broadway show this past weekend that I had a lot of fun with. Either of you guys heard of Operation Mincemeat?
Okay,
yeah, I have heard of that.
What is it about specifically? Like, what is the actual real life thing?
Operation Mincemeat was a real life British intelligence operation during World War II in which they took like a homeless person's corpse, dressed it up as a British officer, gave him a briefcase full of papers about fake invasion plans because they were about to invade Sicily, but they wanted to like draw German forces away. So they put a bunch of fake invasion plans for like Sardinia and Greece, and then dumped the corpse off the coast of Spain so that it would wash up on a beach. And then when the Spanish authorities like found it and did an autopsy, they secretly copied the documents and passed them over to the German government because they were both fascist governments. And so, you know, it's impossible to say how much of an impact that had in real life, but the Sicilian campaign did go better than expected, and there were Hitler did insist on keeping soldiers in the Balkans even while the invasion was ongoing. So
damn,
could have had a real effect.
Wow.
Operation Mincemeat was the code name for that real operation. The show is a comedic retelling of like the planning and execution of that operation. It's interesting because it was like a comedy troops like show that they put on in Britain. It wasn't like a West End show. It was just like a musical comedy troupe like wrote it and performed it, and it was like really popular and successful. And so they ended up going to West End, and now it's still the same like original cast members now doing it on Broadway. So it's not like with like big stars or you know, like something that was created by like one of the big Broadway producers or anything. It's just this comedy troupe show that really took off. I think that shows because it's like it's not a big dancing show. It's like there's movement, but it's like clearly not. They're not like trained dancers. And it's all just like this core cast of like 5 people just like playing a bunch of different roles. You know, like putting on little hats to be like, I'm a different person now.
Love that.
And so it has that kind of like, you know, that kind of energy to it. It's very funny. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, if you live in the New York City area and can see Broadway shows, then I think Operation Mincemeat is a really fun and funny one and worth your time. You guys say
there's a quick tag to that, Diggins. Obviously, I didn't see the show, but I thought their Tony performance was great. I don't know how much like that gives like the flavor of the show.
What song did they do?
Oh, I assume it's like the top one because it's like it's about all them introducing themselves and how they're part of like MI5 and how it's like
Born to Lead.
Yes. Is that the up song?
Yeah, that's the opening song. Yeah. Which includes a little bit about Ian Fleming, who really did work for MI5 and really was involved in this operation.
Nice.
Very tangentially. He's not a big character on the show.
Okay. But they did that for the Tonys, and that is on YouTube. So you can just like go on YouTube and you could see.
I mean,
that
if you go on like
performance.
Spotify, you can listen to the soundtrack if you're never going to see it.
It's true.
Yeah. The other thing I have, I watched Wes Anderson's latest movie, The Phoenician Scheme.
No.
I didn't like it quite as much as his last couple, French Dispatch and Asteroid City, which I felt like were a lot denser as far as movies go. They like had a lot of thematic complexity to them and a lot of like things he was trying to say about the creative process and like artistry. And this is comparatively a much simpler story about like kind of your classic like Scrooge, Grinch kind of story. Now, it's not Christmas related, but of like, curmudgeonly old man learns to be a better person, but told through a very Wes Anderson sort of filter. So, it's very idiosyncratic and kind of like stilted and, what do you call it?
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
Very, there's a high degree of artifice to what he makes, but like intentionally so, and in a way that I think is very fun and like makes it kind of like high energy and entertaining. So I still had a good time with it, especially because I saw it at the Nighthawk, which is like what the Alamo was like 15 years ago.
Oh.
So it's a dinner theater kind of place in New York City. There's only 2 locations in Brooklyn, but I saw it with a friend, and we got the special for the Phoenician Scheme, which was some trout mousse with a bunch of chips and crackers, and that was pretty interesting.
Nice.
So I guess this is also kind of a recommendation for the Nighthawk if you live in New York. I also, I had a full dinner there, Nando, and I got their special for another movie they were showing. I got the SEAL Team 6 grilled cheese.
Oh?
What's SEAL Team 6 movie?
From Friendship.
Oh, right. Yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That
What? That's on VOD now. By the way, I saw
Really?
the other day. Yeah. So, people don't want it can't find it in a theater, but it's vaudable. A lot of movies are vaudable. Foundless Nation, Bloodlines, vaudable now. Watch that again. Still love it. Favorite movie of the year. It was something to watch.
So those are my recs. What about you, Nando? Anything to rec?
So a couple comics and one movie. 2 comics because I couldn't decide. One is Wonder Woman 22. It's written by Tom King, who has been writing the current run. I only bring it up because it's silly one-off issue where she fights a mouse man named Mouse Man. So that is his like title. I'm not super familiar with this villain, but he sucks and he's like one of those. So that's fun. And Tom King's usually pretty good at that because he wrote what's his name? Kite Man. That's kind of why Kite Man was like a thing. And it's got art by Caitlin Yarsky and Alex Guimares. I don't know who. Yeah, I've seen it before, but the art is good. But yeah, fun Wonder Woman issue. Other comic I've been meaning to read that I finally did is Imperial. This is Jonathan Hickman's new joint, and it is about all the space guys, and by the space guys I mean like all the ruling space guys, like Hulk, for instance, who's kind of in charge of Sakaar, Jason, Star-Lord's dad, who's like kind of president of the whole thing, the Shi'ar people, and it's like Deathbird and all them, and then what's his name, Teddy, the Hulkling, who is in charge of the Skrull Kree Alliance now. It's a story about all of them investigating a murder of one of their own, and then a couple of their own, and but it's cool. I like it a lot. It's Jonathan Hickman, so it's got a kind of high level, or it's very high. He has like a lot of big ideas, but yeah, and it's drawn by Ian Cabello and Federico Vincenti, and I think it's also just a very, very good looking book. I know people have been a little annoyed about the characterization of Nova specifically in the book. I get it, but I don't really care about Nova, so it doesn't bother me. And it has She-Hulk in it, so that's fun. Only other thing, I watched a movie the other day because it came out. I watched it as it came out pretty much, but I didn't finish it. Finished it later. But it's a movie that I've been kind of looking forward to, hoping that it would be good, because I think the trailer and the information about it look very promising. It's the new Sony Pictures movie distributed by Netflix for some reason, called K-pop Demon Hunters. And it is an animated thing, so like Spider-Verse-esque. And I would say pretty close. It doesn't have the same amount of like what would you say, medium kind of like, it doesn't try to, like, the same way that Spider-Verse, I'd say, tries to emulate certain media like comics, but also like, street art and stuff like that. This feels like a more straight take on like just an aesthetic, but it's very stylized, and it has like kind of some anime-ness in it, although it's not an anime. But it's also just like a cool movie, lots of cool fighting and stuff, because they fight demons. And it's the story is just basically that throughout history there have been bands of 3 women, ever since like the demons showed up, that would fight the demons, and also made a song, because they were all singers, that were so good that it could make the demons go away, just generally. And so currently, so it's been like a disco band, and it was, a minstrel, like back
a minstrel
in the day.
show.
Maybe not a minstrel show, but you know what I mean. What's that thing called? Isn't that a word for something, right? Is that like that guy who has a lute and goes da, 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 da? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're
all
saying.
The ages. Yeah. But anyway, so currently it's K-pop stars. It's these 3 K-pop stars. And they, just have to try to do this, and it's hard. I don't really know too much about K-pop. I know about as much as like your average American, where you kind of recognize some people and stuff. But I didn't recognize any of these people. I don't think any of them are K-pop stars. I think they were mostly actors. I think maybe some K-pop stars lent their voices to the singing. But the thing that really surprised me, and what I really, really liked about this movie, is it's a real musical. Like, there is singing constantly. And like some of it is diegetic, obviously, because a lot of it is at their concerts, because they're a huge band. But a lot of the other bits are like them testing a song and like thinking about a song and then going into a fight, and the song is kind of the fight. And it just, the songs are really catchy. The animation's great. Like, I think the story is fine. And I think there's some parts of the story that are actually pretty like compelling, but overall, like, as a fun kind of Spider-Verse-esque martial arts movie, I was very impressed by it. And it makes me want to go back and watch Wish Dragon, which I think is the other movie that the last one of these guys worked on, although I don't know if that is a Sony Pictures. I think it actually might be DreamWorks. I'm not sure. Yeah, this I think is a Sony. So it makes me want to go back and watch that, because I'm like, oh, maybe that's good. But yeah, I would say it's on Netflix, and it's pretty good. It's short, maybe an hour and a half, but also you watch about 10 minutes and you're like, this is irritating. It's probably not for you. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. Not really that many famous people in it that American audiences recognize, besides what's his name, Ken Jeong is in it. So there you go. What are we doing next week, fellas?
It's got to be
a great question.
Is it 28 time yet? Is it 28?
28 years later, I do think just came out.
Could be 28. Could be Leo. Could be
How to Train Your Dragon or Lilo and Stitch.
No, don't make me. No.
It could do the K-pop movie if it's a huge hit. I don't really know how it's hitting, but like if it's a big phenomenon, I would say that would be fun.
Okay.
And we could do another debt. We could just really burn through the debts.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know if
let
there's
us know, maybe.
Yeah, people tell us in the thing if you have strong feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys have anything in the meantime to plug? DJ, do you have anything to plug?
Check out Roses and Rejections, where me and Michelle and our new guest host, Kylie, who's writing for the Pop Break, and it's mostly them, and I'm just there because you need a guy on the pod, right?
You've invited a third into your marriage.
Exactly, yeah. But listen to them mostly cover Love Island USA, and then me be there and also give my thoughts. Yeah, check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Pop Break TV, and then we're in there. Roses and Rejections, wherever you get your podcasts. Diggins.
Nope. What about you, Nando?
Videos. I've got a video coming out today. It's on Nebula right now, but it's gonna be on YouTube probably by the end of the day. Apparently, Sabrina Carpenter is rumored for Dazzler, so I think that's interesting. Probably gonna have Ironheart.
We waited so long, we had to switch from one pop star to a younger one.
Well, and that's the thing, is the question of is Sabrina Carpenter a good Dazzler is kind of redundant, or not redundant, I guess, but like the answer is, well, since like Dazzler is kind of reinvented in every generation as the current pop star, Sabrina Carpenter being the current pop star makes her technically the most apt Dazzler, even if she doesn't look like she would do disco back in, the 70s or whatever. Yeah, so I thought so. I think it's an interesting question. Besides that, other videos will be out soon that are all great. And you see those as they come out. So watch, at Nando Movies and the Nando Cut. I'm also trying to do more shorts on YouTube. So if you hate those, just ignore them. But if you love them, then you're gonna love them. Some people like them, and some people, watch nothing but shorts.
Yearn for the TikToks.
Exactly. True. So that's great. By the way, I was wondering if you guys you got Switch 2 yet, right?
I have one.
No.
Oh, you haven't? Have you played the Mario Kart? Are you the cow yet?
No. Well, I should say it's a bit of a misnomer. Michelle has it, but
and she graciously allows you to use it sometimes.
I haven't.
It's lovely,
but
is your son incredibly excited for the Donkey Kong game?
Oh my god, that looks so fun!
It does look so fun. I'm incredibly excited, but yeah, he can watch me play.
Good for him.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, that's fun. So until next week, I've been at Nando Movies on Twitter.
I'm at Zippy by Day on all the things.
I'm at C Diggins exclusively on Bluesky.
All right, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye. We love you.